fuck you!
You're scared. And you should be.
This is not your company anymore.
Leave the cheek of CM Punk.
Out! Combo move! This is what they've been doing! Hey, McAfee!
Everyone shut the up and sit down!
We got a mom in the front row who taught her daughter how to suck dick!
I'm Mina Shirakawa. I used to be a model. I want to put on a big show.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome once again to the Saturday Shenanigans, hosted by yours truly, the Renegade J.J. Williams. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. CM Punk drama bullshit to the side. I still consider Hangman the worst AEW champion they've had. First of all, we're going to bring in Walter Cruz.
I said that as a joke when, what's his name, did his promo Monday. And he said, I'm from a prestige university. I said he majored in Steiner math.
We've got the Heb man, James Hebert, in the house.
I do really cool and dumb things on the internet.
Right. A lot of shit going on here. A lot of fucking crazy ass shit.
Where is Noah JD? Well, say his name and he appears because we believe in Noah Foster.
Fuck is this intro? It is one of those things where, as fans, we do have these desires of what we want to see, but sometimes you can't always get what you want, and there are reasons you truly don't get what you want. I wouldn't even listen to this in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. What the fuck is this shit? God, rapid whack. Like I said, never been a greater time to be a wrestling fan, and with more companies in a more lucrative spot, in a more comfortable business spot, in a sense of mine, it seems, than ever. Again, WWE is not the only one. It is not the end-all, be-all. So let's go back to the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams to get the official word. JJ, speak!
Make sure you tune in every week because you never know who's going to drop in to join the shenanigans. Catboy is in the house.
Hello, my internet family. I say if you want to make them as evil as possible, make them really mad.
We have Mansfield joining the party now. What is going on, Josh?
Like I told Noah when we were in Cleveland, him joining JCU was just an unfortunate side effect of my shenanigans towards you, JJ. I know how it can get better, Noah. The panel chooses you.
Shut the fuck up, Josh.
He said that so like.
We got someone intro back.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Just think how you and I had lunch together the other week.
That was different.
Ladies and gentlemen, the King is here. Say his name and he appears. We believe in King A-Train. There are so many believers in Joe Hendry. The only person on this panel that doesn't believe in Joe Hendry is King A-Train. Tell the world why you do not believe in Joe Hendry.
The reason I do not believe Joe Hendry is he is Fandango 2.0 in a entrance merchant. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Hey! There's nothing wrong with being an entrance merchant. He has some of the best entrances of all time.
Teleporting into the command center, all the way from Angel Grove High, Datilla.
Oh, yeah. I went to the command center on Thursday. I went to Vasquez Rocks, which is where they filmed a lot of episodes. Somebody actually climbed to the very top of those rocks. I made it halfway. I was like, I'm not going up there. Definitely Toni Storm versus Mariah May. That's the one match I probably am looking forward to the most. I really like the story. I'm familiar with all about Eve, so if it plays out that way, I kind of know how this is gonna go.
Say goodnight, Datilla.
Good night.
James, you did say his name. So he shall appear, ladies and gentlemen, the first time on the Shenanigans. Jeff Meacham is in the motherfucking house.
All right, we're coming in hard with the botch. All right, fucking hell. It's good to be back. It's good to have an opportunity to talk to the crowd on a Saturday. If you want to have yourself stomach through it, you can go back and watch when the Main Event Mafia took over Impact. That's what James is talking about. So if everybody just joined us, we're talking about people sedating people, attempted murder, boys, and tips. Welcome to Saturday Shenanigans, everybody. Aren't you glad I'm back?
Welcome back, Jeff.
Cool.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back once again to the week. Whether on your YouTube screen or in your TV feed, we are live here at the Super Labo Studios, bringing you news at 3 p.m. as we bring you a year recap of the biggest headlines of 2025 in this special edition of the Sunday Shenanigans. Hello, everybody. It is I, once again, your head news anchor, broadcaster, and moderator for this afternoon. You know who I am. You know what this is. For I am the Simple Man of the Simple Brand, the voice of the SRS, forever grateful for all things professional wrestling, damn it. And my name is Noel Foster. My other correspondents are out in the field right now, but they should be tuning in here shortly. And again, if you want to dictate the conversation, Super Chat, it is truly as simple as that. There have been a multitude of massive headlines this year that have brought much, of course, forward, including but not limited to the multi-billion-dollar deal with Netflix, the Roger Jackson incident, Hulk Hogan's death, John Cena's heel turn, AAA acquisition, WrestleMania 43 announced for Saudi Arabia. Of course, we have Saudi Rumble coming up next year, as well as WWE moves PLEs to ESPN, and there might be some buyer's remorse, of course, that we already know or may not know. I hope that you all enjoy the discussion. Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday and a wonderful weekend ahead, and a wonderful way to look towards the week that is ahead as well. Papagino, good to see you again. Stay tuned, folks. Me and Papagino will be back later on, of course, this week, bringing you the stats and predictions post-mortem for the conclusion of the AEW Predictions League. And it's good to see the Cleaver, Con, Andrew as well. As of course, I am never alone. I'm always with a gaggle of fools, some that don't know how to keep out of a manacle. Joining me first and foremost, it is our fellow gamer looking to level up and is ready to be part of the conversation, Charles Schultz. Charles Schultz, good to see you. Welcome to the newsroom. How do you feel this fine Sunday afternoon?
Feeling good. Wow, this is going to be a fun day.
Yeah, you're telling me. I didn't think I was going to turn this into a freaking news feed, but if all I was going to do was talk about news for professional wrestling, then I'm going to freaking have fun with it. And speaking of which, hope the weather's treating y'all well. There you see your current weather reports down below. Currently 48 degrees right here at Toledo, Ohio. A little bit of rain on the other side of things. Out in the California area, nice bright 64 degrees Fahrenheit. In New York with a bit of a mid-range freezing right now. Mostly cloudy weather. Supposed to follow through the rest of the week here. And Charles, how's the weather over where you live, of course? What's your domain?
Michigan weather is ass. Rain at the moment.
Yeah,
well, and it's going to get worse. And then we got snow tomorrow, so
never
can catch a break.
I mean, again, if we were trying to catch a break here, then every day would feel the same way. And we all know that's absolutely impossible to happen. So, again, it's one of those things where, again, you expect the unexpected and you make the most out of whatever situation you might be in. But I think without further ado, Super Reliable Studios community, fellow broadcasters in and out of the SRS studios and out of the newsroom too. Why don't we go ahead and get right into the first topic of discussion? We look chronologically back at the year 2025. Good to see some fat. It is cold indeed. All right. It's supposed to be like 61 degrees here, but I haven't seen it happen yet. And Matt Helms, it's good to see you as well. Also good to see Bali Man in the chat again, folks. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. If you want to dictate the conversation or you have a breaking news, super chat, it is truly as simple as that. We will start first and foremost with one of our biggest stories of the year as WWE, of course, went to Netflix. Of course, we had a deal come up earlier this year with WWE and Netflix, of course, as TKO and, of course, the proprietary leader in channeling and showcasing all forms of entertainment have, of course, agreed to a particularly
multi-year deal for billions and billions of dollars. Yes. Of course, we've seen the Netflix era come into full swing at the start of this year in January. And of course, we approach the 1-year anniversary. For those that don't know, a few more details on this deal, of course. Netflix basically signed a major 10-year, $5 billion deal with WWE, part of the TKO group, starting in January 2025. We have seen Monday Night Raw live across all global times, and of course, it's been shown on demand the past holiday season as well. We have also seen some hit or miss moments here, including Io Sky being Ripley for the WWE Women's Heavyweight Championship, and everyone has enjoyed, of course, times seeing Monday Night Raw here in the States at 3 p.m., finding that 2.5-hour soft spot. That being said, why don't we go ahead and go to our MMA expert on this first and foremost, of course. Please welcome into the newsroom, Mr. Reliable, Walter Cruz. Walter, how are you? Welcome to the Super Reliable Studios newsroom. And why don't you go ahead and open the discussion on the first big story of the year with WWE and Netflix having a deal. Do you think it's been better overall for the WWE product? Has it expanded the audience? Has it hurt them more versus profited? What's been your outlook on the WWE Netflix era year one? Go ahead.
It hurt family being able to afford to be able to see WWE because their prices are freaking skyrocketing. It seems like it's getting worse and worse, and that's that TKO trying to make the money back they spent on this deal. I'm believing. And aside from that, the thing I do like is you would think Raw can end whenever they want since it's Netflix. So the way they formatted Raw is a lot better in terms of how it ends, and it's been consistently only a few times they went past, but pretty much at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, it's done. And that I did like, and I feel like it's that. But what bothers me, it's Netflix, and they still got the sensory bullshit. Why are you censoring the crowd saying bullshit or this or a middle finger? Or why are you censoring that if it's on Netflix? People who have Netflix watch movies all day that curse, that do the middle finger. Like, why are you catering to that? Like, I understand if you're doing it on USA cable for SmackDown, but if it's Netflix and you have to pay to have Netflix, why are you censoring the public? And I can go as far as to say I understand if a wrestler is cursing themselves. Why are you censoring the freedom of speech of the audience and the crowd? Like, that makes no sense. Or you doing these blackout weird things that you do. So it's like, I don't get it. It's like, imagine if Okada signed to WWE. That means now you can't even do the fuck you thing that he does. They would make him stop doing that. So it's like the censoring thing. It's getting on my nerves. Why are you on a paid to subscribe platform? You're gonna censor it that heavy. It's like that satellite radio, right? You pay for that, and you can hear all the cursing. You can hear nothing is uncensored because you're paying for the subscription. So why is that not translating to the Netflix part? I don't get that. And like I said, I do get if it's the wrestler itself because you as a company are broadcasting that. But you can't control what people are saying in the audience. Don't censor that crap.
Yeah, you would think in a world of freedom of speech, and of course, it's public free forum, we would have more control here, of course, in media. Speaking of control in the media, this man works for the media juggernaut, now joining the newsroom live on field from the most magical place on the planet, or outskirts of it. It is our own Jeff motherfucking Meacham from sunny California. Jeff, welcome to the SRS newsroom. How are you feeling this fine afternoon? And please share your thoughts on this topic or anything else on your mind.
So first of all, you guys sound robotic. Do I sound robotic to you?
No.
Okay,
You're fine,
wow.
Jeff.
Wow, the gimbal just died. How tremendous is that? Okay. Brand new freaking device. Okay, good. Figures. Okay. Can we possibly, maybe? There we go. Hi. Nope. Okay, whatever. Okay. So the topic at hand is?
We are currently talking about, of course, the WWE Netflix era beginning and the deal that just brought forth. But before you do that, also joining the newsroom live from Canada, she's yours, she's mine, she's our Canadian friend, Ash. Hello, Ash. Welcome to the SRS newsroom. It's good to have you, as always, on the Shenanigans. We'll get back to you here shortly. It looks like there might be a crime in progress. Eastern Standard Time from the California area off of the 405. Grand Theft Auto in pursuit, or someone's life in jeopardy.
That was the ambulance to come help me from that heart attack of seeing Okada and Tagasha fighting.
Right?
The Doppler effect, for those that are wondering, is when the sirens are so close to you, the pitch gets even higher. That being said, Jeff, go ahead and please lend your thoughts to this topic and what's on your mind. Then we'll go to our Canadian friend Ash, and thank you, Walter, for your opening disposition.
So I had little mixed feelings about Raw joining Netflix. I mean, you know, it's one of those. It's the first time the flagship show of the most prolific wrestling company on the planet was not going to be on, for lack of a better term, traditional terrestrial television. It was very weird. It was different, and we as wrestling fans, especially the IWC, we do not like change that we did not actively promote. We are not fond of that shit at all, as everybody knows. So I was hesitant, but then I had the opportunity to go to the first show with my son, and it was an unbelievable experience. The atmosphere was as electric as I felt at a live wrestling show in a very long time, and you know, a lot of us IWCers, and especially those who, you know, ply our trade in this crazy ass world, are very jaded. No pun intended, except especially in my universe, no pun intended with the word jaded. But I've enjoyed the presentation. I know people are really mixed bag on the creative since Raw joined Netflix. I've enjoyed the show when I've had a chance to watch it when this place hasn't monopolized my time, to be fair. I've enjoyed the year, and I'm looking forward to the first Raw on Netflix in the new year. They have lined that show up and stacked it high as a pallet of Christmas cookies here at Disneyland. So I'm here for it.
All right, fair enough. Well, thank you for that, Jeff. Motherfucking me, chum. First and foremost, Ash, I hope that you had a wonderful holiday. I hope everyone, by the way, had a wonderful holiday season too as we count down to the new year. And please stay tuned for the New Year's Eve special, the final shenanigans of 2025. Ash, welcome to the newsroom. What's been your thought of the inaugural WWE Netflix year? And have you think that it's been more beneficial for the WWE ecosystem overall, current or a newfound dated fan base? What are some of your takeaways?
It's a new platform for WWE, that's for sure. I don't really feel it's like really much changed as far creative goes, because I'm the wrong person to be asking, because I just watch whenever. Like, I don't watch like on a weekly basis, but the shows I have watched, they did a job in entertaining me.
I guess that's all that matters, as long as whatever you put your eyes in front of and your money towards, that you are actually pleased with what you got in the end. Whether the emotions were what you expected or the emotions what you were unexpected, as long as you got something desirable out of the product, that's all that matters. I must say, for, again, a guy that's about professional wrestling and not about movies, this has given me a couple of reasons to actually have Netflix at times, including our watch-alongs. The shows that we've called, of course, here during our year 2025 have been very fun, including the inaugural one from the Intuit Dome. And I am looking forward to January 5th with Big G, Walter, JJ, or you, or whoever, as we, of course, usher in 2026 with all those championship matches. But I still miss USA Network because I do think it was more streamlined. It was easier to cater to. It was easier to follow and keep up with. And it always was at a constant time. As somebody who flexes on New Japan time schedule, sometimes finding WWE on at 3 p.m. in the afternoon is weird for an East Coaster like me. And Colin lending his thoughts here. Netflix has been cool, but I miss the USA Network on Monday nights. Well, I guess now they're trying to turn USA Network to Friday nights, because we know that SmackDown will go to 3 hours as well. And then we got Rage of Wrestling giving us a thought here. It should be commercial free, to be honest. You would think with the fact they have so much money and they have such specials, they would do more commercial free time during Monday Night Raw on Netflix, and less these 3-minute breaks with additional WWE infomercials. It's almost like overkill. They just oversaturated the formula with the ESPN stuff, which we'll talk about later. But I will say, this WWE this year, for a little bit, the Netflix stuff, it's been all right, but to Ash's point, I haven't felt a lot of change either with the presentation. If nothing else, it feels like WWE becomes more of a reality show than what I want to see in professional wrestling fan. And maybe that's what makes me think about AEW as a standout of the business versus WWE as of late, where everyone's coming to similarity almost. But that's just my 2 cents. Let's go ahead now and move to Charles to further discussion. Then we'll go to Jeff, who had his hand up. Charles, Emmett, for you want to add regarding the Netflix year one era of WWE? What are some of your takeaways? Have you think this hindered the product presentation at all? Has become more like mitigated to, celebrity one-up appearances and showcases and focusing more? And again, Logan Paul talked about wrestling changing. Is it changing more to cross over in pop culture versus focus in the ring? What's your take?
Pretty much, that probably might be the case. But also, at least one of the benefits of having that Raw on Netflix is whenever they do overseas shows, you actually watch it in the middle of the day when it actually is live over it. Like they did during the European tour on the Road to Mania this year. So we were able to watch those live instead of waiting for, the normal time slot was on cable.
Oh, yeah, but DVR is also a thing, and we've used DVR and we've used pre-live shows in the past when they were on at the same time consistently.
You spoiled youth people with your DVR. We used to literally have to take a thing called a VCR, set up the time to record the freaking thing if we were missing it, if we had to work or anything. You guys don't know the hell people that like Jeff's age, my age, JJ, even Noah for that matter. We used to have to set a damn VCR up to record Raw if we were gonna miss.
I like how I'm not gonna lie, Walter. Like, I have enjoyed, and we're gonna lose that at the end of the year with Peacock completely eliminated the WWE library. I've enjoyed the ability to have one monitor on Raw and one monitor on Nitro. I've been going through my little childhood binge, dude. Having to tape one or the other and then stay up till 2:00 in the morning. Gotta watch it before school tomorrow. Like, oh god, what a nightmare, dude. We are spoiled rotten in this generation, and the kids underneath our age have no idea.
I'm about to say the keyword there, Jeff, though, that I heard was rotten, and you're definitely not wrong about that when it comes to how much this generation has become rotten to the core. As again, folks, stay tuned for more of what grinds Walter's gears here in the Super Reliable Studios new room. Stay tuned for the next hour. Walter, that was beyond brilliant. All right, well, that being said,
that was awesome.
In conclusion, Raw on Netflix might have been better for business, but was it better for the fan base? That comes down to pure opinion. Please stay tuned for year two as year one concludes. Heck of a kickstart. Charles, I do see your hand before we move into our next topic. What you got to say real quick?
Nice one, Noah. One, I was because I know Walter brought up, the prices thing, but that's also probably on Netflix themselves raising the price of the subscription because Netflix got to make the money back from buying this whole setup deal to begin with for Raw.
Yeah, about to say buyer's remorse. Has it sunk in yet?
It's mostly also Netflix, so it's probably not mostly TKO things. Mostly Netflix wants to make the money back, so that's usually how every company would do. Raise the prices up for the thing just to make the money back they spent just to buy something.
Well, I mean, again, buyer's remorse is also a thing. Jeff, I saw you on mute real quick. You have a thought to say?
Yeah, unfortunately I do have to go in and start my work day here at the happiest workplace on earth, but I did want to. The first image I want to talk about before I have to go is I love that this image is how we're ending 2025 as wrestling fans. Two of my favorite people in wrestling, one more recent than the other, I'm not going to lie, but Frankie Kazarian and MJF are both world champions. Max completed his 2-year redemption, if you will, if you can redeem MJF, which he's not redeemable. We all know this. Even his wife knows that. Not redeemable whatsoever. He's doomed forever, but he is where he belongs. He is where he was supposed to be at the end of 2023. He is a world champion, and my God, Frankie Kazarian being a world champion, almost 25 years in his career, just warms my heart. I'm so happy for Frankie and his family. I'm happy for Max, and I guess I'm happy for Alicia because she's happy her husband's champion, even though they still haven't had their honeymoon. Max, I love you, but Jesus. Anyway.
Right.
As far as this coming week, I am overjoyed. I get to be a small part of a couple of big deals. On Tuesday night, the 30th, and I mean like late as I possibly can before the 31st starts, the final episode of what I've called Meech's Musings for the better part of a decade or so. Wow. Talking about the 3 Gs for 2026. And for those of you that are going to be wondering, I'll go ahead and spill it right now. Galvanized hearts, gateway friends, and goals for 2026. That is what we're talking about Tuesday night. I will be live in Las Vegas at that point. Wednesday night, New Year's Eve, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. I again get to meet up with some amazing friends I've made over the years, Greg Cherry and Maddie Laws, as we give this year the proper send-off it deserves. Because there are very few things this year can, how far are we in? This year can straight up go fuck itself. Like, just, I'm over it. So, that's going to be Wednesday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. So, Tuesday afternoon, I should say, before my show, and Wednesday night after Greg's show, I get the joy of hanging out with people that very much polarize the WWE universe and the internet wrestling community as a whole. But you know what? They're my friends, and I love them both. I get to hang with the Bella Twins both nights. They have an event at at Smith's grocery store out in Vegas, promoting that wine that is going to get me in trouble the next night for sure. But we're going to be hanging out with them Tuesday night and then Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday night, 10 p.m. after they come back from a masquerade ball, they're hitting Old Red, Blake Shelton's location out in Vegas, and we are going to ring in the new year with them and with everybody at Old Red, everybody in Vegas. So if there's anybody out there in the Simple Rival Studios community or in the old Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media, if we still call it that. God, I still get the fuck every time I hear that phrase.
Right.
Anybody that's going to be in Vegas, come on down, man. Hang out, drink some of the Bonita wine. It is good. It will sneak up on your ass, I promise you. But it is tasty. So please come out and hang out. And then I don't want you to do that. Stop. Okay. There we go.
There we go.
I moved like an inch, and the Disney Wi-Fi. You want to use? No, I don't want to use. Once the new year is over and I'm back here, I will be back on the air January 5th with the official relaunch of the Jeff Meacham YouTube channel. So a lot of cool stuff in store for the guys for 2026 and beyond. Come out and support the Bellas on New Year's Eve, and I will see you all next year. I love you all. Yes, even you. Have a wonderful rest of the show, folks.
Thank you so much, Jeff motherfucking Meacham, for the most magical place in the earth, from one of the most kindest souls I've ever got to meet as a friend. Pure and simple as that. Again, folks, Jeff motherfucking Meacham. Follow him on the X, follow him on the social medias as the Jeff Meacham Network relaunches in 2026. Cheers to him, and may have an incredible time with the Bellas. May be absolutely fearless. All right, as we are now down to a Fantastic Four here in the broadcast room, we will continue on with our major stories of this year as we move from January into February. And again, how much is a soul worth to one individual? As we look back on the heel turn of the year in execution, when everyone's favorite John Cena sold his soul to Hollywood and to the devil himself, the final boss, of course, talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne, of course, talking about that he needed Cody Rhodes' soul. He had to have Cody's soul. And Cody simply told him, you do not own my soul. I do not own my soul. These fans own my soul. Go fuck yourself. And Tender, President Johnson won the Elimination Chamber, set up the entirety of John Cena's heel run, and of course the WrestleMania moment with insert name redacted. Of course, we saw the low blow, the soulless look in the eyes, and the rest is history when he branded him with that Rolex. So why don't we go ahead and look back on this incredible moment? Was this the moment of the year for WWE? Was this the greatest heel turn of all time in execution? And at the end of the day, would you have done it differently? And should have Cody been the one to push this story? Ash, I will start with you on this. We look back that this happened in Canada, eh? What was your thoughts when this moment happened? What went through your mind? And in alternate reality, if Cody turned heel, would you have seen Cody Rhodes and John Cena be at different spots at this point? Go ahead.
So when the heel turns happened, it was shocking for sure because I was under the impression that John Cena was never going to turn heel because a lot of things. It was one thing that WWE fans were thinking, but like, how would John Cena heel turn would be like? And sure enough, we ended up getting it. The way they went about it, like the at first, like when the initial heel turn itself was very well done.
We have a momentary pause. We will be right back after these short messages where our Canadian friend Ash should join us shortly. Please stay tuned, folks. We are live. Okay.
No, we're from our sponsor.
Freaking sponsor.
Sorry,
Hey, I had to say it.
Sorry, I heard my mom call.
Hey, God bless
You're
Butter.
good.
Also, don't pull an Emmanuel. I'm going to turn that into a freaking commercial segment. No, we're from our sponsor here. Shut the fuck up, Emmanuel. Anyway, continue, Ash.
Hey, someone had to do it.
Of course, someone had to do it.
What was I on about? Oh yeah, that's right. The heel turn was shocking because it was something that a lot of WWE fans thought was never going to happen, and the way they did the heel turn was very well done. The follow-up to it, on the other hand, yeah, that was yeah, it could have been done a lot done. It could have been a little bit more better, especially like the reasoning why John Cena turned heel. And I didn't like how The Rock wasn't involved in it as much because he was part of the big reason why John Cena turned heel, and I just wanted The Rock to get involved a little bit more. If the roles was reversed, I would have been vindicated in how I view Cody Rhodes, because y'all know how I feel about him being a goddamn politician and whatnot.
I mean, this is the same guy that wants to run for governor of his own state of Georgia. Now, whether or not he'd be better than the public office running, where we got a damage orange versus a woman in office, why they got the first female prime minister in Japan. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Again, I'm non-political, folks, despite the fact that I wear a suit. No, I'm never running for president.
Yeah.
That being said,
can Cody Rhodes do as bad as the current president? So.
Not going down that road. This is not CNN, and I am not Anderson Cooper. But thank you, Ash.
This is not Fox News. This is not Fox News.
We're not liberal. Oh, Jesus. Just got ourselves in front of the internet. All right. That being said, thank you, Ash. Charles, your thoughts on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's original story in mind, trying to do so much more from a cinema standpoint versus in-ring with the use of Cody. Plans didn't work out. Unreal. Was it real or was it fake? Did it really turn The Rock away from WWE to focus on the Oscars, working on Scorsese's? What do you guys say regarding this moment, and would you have seen it done any different?
Well, one, yeah, I will say Rock being involved, the heel turn itself was awesome. That I can admit. It's just the aftermath just didn't help.
And the execution. Just call it what it is. The execution.
The execution, no. It didn't go well at all. You had the factor of, you had The Rock involved, and he just disappeared, and, we had to deal with someone else, unfortunately, instead.
But we don't talk about that, especially when he makes a word more fake than any word Eminem used to rhyme with orange, and I'm going to leave it at that. Anyway, I said what I said. All right. Well, thank you for that, Charles. Walter, again.
I was so getting to my point.
Oh, sorry, Charles.
That wasn't done yet. Damn, Noah.
Done yet. I give you the
I was not interrupting you. Allow me to do.
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
We're already off to a fun start. Love it. But yeah, I would definitely. Now, if it would have went with Cody being the heel, which I had no issues with at all. So I'm wanting that to happen. But as far as this up there with the heel turns, the night itself, it's like right up there.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, that's all I got to say on that matter. Now I'm done now.
All right, well, you're all good. Again, Avatar, man, it's hard to see it without your lips moving. Just see your avatar with the bubble around it. All right, well, fair enough. Yeah, for me, it definitely was one of those moments where it's like, you didn't expect it to happen. How many people want to see John Cena turn heel, going all the way back to 2012, teasing it sometimes, like when he, of course, beat Roman Reigns on a promo. It's just one of those things where I think there could have been so much more potential if The Rock was still involved right now, where I do think creative would have took a whole different direction and a whole different dynamic if Dwayne Johnson was still at the forefront of it. I think if we really push forward for WrestleMania season, there'd be a whole different economy across the WWE landscape versus revision. But again, it's just one of those things where hindsight is 20/20. Execution is key. You only get one shot to make a good first impression. Great first impression, but long-term execution, the jury is out. All right, Walter, let's go with you on this. Of course, me, you, and Jeff and JJ were on the call when this moment happened, and we were giddy as schoolgirls. I remember you going, yes! So again, what do you have to say regarding this moment and how it happened? Would you consider this one of the biggest moments in a long time in WWE? And would you consider this one of the greatest heel turns and execution of all time versus the long-term storytelling we got afterwards?
One of the biggest moments in a long time, yes. Biggest heel turn, no, because nothing's gonna beat Hulk Hogan's turn because the kids were so
Brother.
invested in that and saying people's prayers and everything in that red and yellow turn. But that was the one guy that you would think would never turn heel. It was like you would think Hulk Hogan was like Ricky Steamboat and wasn't gonna go heel. But so that to me will always be number one. But Cena's up there. I just think it was the execution that failed because they should have done it without The Rock. If he would have just turned heel because he was like, I'm in my last year and I'm tired of always being the goody two shoes person and then not and then do it on his own, yeah. But the whole fact that it was a sell of my soul and doing anything, doing whatever The Rock was doing, they should have had a definitive 100% schedule commitment by The Rock before they executed this, and then they could have went it into a different route. I think The Rock just kind of pulled the rug from under it and let it fall to hell from the beginning, and that's what happened. So the execution was bad, but the initial turn was good, and then some of the promos he did as a heel was good, but he never really explained why he would sell his soul. It was just kind of, you people did this and did that, and I'm not going to change my music because it's what you want. That part made sense, but they could have just did it a little better. But it is what it is. Hindsight 2020. I just wish The Rock committed more because then it would have been made more sense.
Again, W and logic in the same sentence, wrestling and logic in the same sentence. Highly unlikely, not likelihood, quote unquote, Aaron Riff. So you got a no DQ. Charles, I did see your hand. What you guys say before we close the book on this topic once for all for 2025?
And I will say this. Yeah, right. The moment seeing turning heel finally is cool, but it is kind of weird doing that in his last year. Instead, we could have done it when it actually was freaking neat, was like wanted. Definitely, it was like 2012. Women the best time to do it. Not at the very end of literally his last year. The shock moment, yeah, but could have not done it at all.
Well,
Fine with that.
Execution, man. You think about how you want to do something, it looks good on paper, and then you see how it goes, and pretty much it turns into, well,
downhill.
Simple as that. All right. Well, thank you so much as we turn our gears right now into, of course, the next point of the year for major discussion. We, of course, know that WWE is all about global localization, or picking the brain, global domination at this point. Now, at this point, is Palavek the brain? Who's his pinky? I would bring that up to Bruce Pritchard probably. But let's go ahead and talk about the AAA acquisition, shall we? Because WWE officially purchased the Lucha Libre promotion, AAA. They announced it, of course, at WrestleMania 41, as you can see, with a contingency of Latino and Latinas. Partnering, of course, with Philippe, a Mexican sports and entertainment holding company. WWE acquired a majority stake, 51%, while Philippe holds the remaining 49%. We, of course, seen the founding Pina family who runs AAA. They still remain involved. Basically, the goal was to blend WWE global outreach with AAA's roots of Lucha Libre heritage, potentially integrating talent and content. As we know, Dominic Mysterio and all Eagle Page, they, of course, have AAA titles as we speak, along with Chelsea Green. And it's led to these joint venture World Collide shows and the discovery of Mr. Iguana and Iglesia. Not to mention, future plans involve, of course, with media crossovers. AAA events are slated to air on Fox properties, possibly in Mexico and Latin America, starting in 2026. In a world where we literally look at WWE wanting to control everything, own everything, be the end-all, be-all, the only image of tree for professional wrestling, sports entertainment, crossover, damn it. Let's go ahead and look back at the year for this AAA WWE partnership. in its short-term entirety. Charles, I will start with you on this topic. AAA WWE, a match made and maybe a proverbial crossover heaven, or something that might descend into its own infuego if it further continues the way it's been happening. What has been your thoughts on the AAA WWE partnership this year?
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's been awesome. Seeing LA Parker, which is great. And I still enjoyed that match that broke you. And Ash really enjoyed it on commentary. With Demonito.
Bloody hell, call it a puppet and a puppet.
Hey, it was the greatest thing ever. Okay.
Hey.
Then again, we have Microman and Omos.
Microman and Omos.
Yes,
that working together.
Oh, that was awesome. But overall, it was literally great.
Man, if I see
just keep this up. What?
Just keep this up. I'm just listening to you. I'm just trying to get in my brain right now because I'm just like,
Then again, somehow it was as normal as someone ripping their mask face off. I'm looking at Ash over here on this one. When she said I was normal.
You said L.A. Parka instead of La Parka?
I have been tired. I've had a long day. Don't. A long day, okay?
It's not Los Angeles Parka.
Los Angeles Parka. That sounds like a knockoff character in a Grand Theft Auto video game. Oh my god.
But yes, I am still there you go. But yes, I'm still referring to Ash over here about where she saw Psycho Clown for the first time ripping off the mask face, and she said it was normal. She said it with a straight face.
I remember me and her on the call.
She ain't denying it right now. He's not denying it.
Oh, I can see it on her cheeky face.
Shout out to little dude.
And then there's that too.
I don't know how to pronounce his name, so he's just like, yeah, he's little dude, and I like him.
Yeah, you like the little ass like the little people, all about the tinies.
And I bring my that from there.
Okay, thank you, Charles. Walter, what's been your thoughts about the AAA partnership? Dom Mysterio, of course, winning the AAA Mega Championship from, oh Lord, El Hijo del Vikingo. We've seen, of course, the inception of freaking Grande Americanos now involving AAA, Rey Mysterio, Penta Zero Miguel, of course, leaders enforcing the importance. We see, of course, these shows encompassing the Mexican heritage with the Mexican national anthem and the American national anthem. For those that don't know, by the way, the Spanish national anthem, it has no lyrics. That's why you see football players just stand and nobody's singing. But that's a whole different conversation. But what's been your thoughts, Walter, on this AAA WWE partnership? Chelsea Green, Vivid Page, mixed tag team champions. Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana working together. Fabio Apache and Natty feuding. And again, we've seen La Parka and, of course, Pagano and Psycho Clown. We've seen so much crazy crossover, both on the AAA shows and particularly NXT, where NXT, of course, had them involved in their Gold Rush specials and Halloween Havoc recently. What's been some of your biggest takeaways, and what do you still hope to see come out of this partnership?
I love the partnership. I just hope they don't do everything that, like, where it's all one-sided, where WWE wins everything and AAA doesn't win anything. Like, it would be nice to see Ray, because that's the one title like he's never ever held. It would be nice if they gave him a short run, and then his dad can retire him and win it back or something. But I had no idea what La Yesca was or Mr. Iguana was before this partnership. So the fact that he got so over, I love it. And the fact that it just brings more eyeballs on the Lucha Libre style and the Latin America culture, I like it. I really don't see any negative. And then, you got Javon Evans all over the place. He's been involved in AAA. He's becoming, at 21 years old, one of their biggest stars. Like, I honestly think he's already going to the main roster. Like, I saw on SmackDown that they were talking to him is like the fact that he's 21 and they jumping him that much, and the trust he has by the company at 21 years old to be in AAA, NXT, TNA, to do everything he's doing. That says a lot. So I feel like if it wasn't for this partnership, he wouldn't have that much exposure. So it gives the chance for the repetition too, because the house show schedule has changed. Unlike back in the day where you toured everywhere and all the time, now that there's less time up, you need your repetition in to get better for the younger stars. So the fact that they made this TNA relationship and AAA relationship, it allows that to happen. Plus, it gives you dream matches for the older people, like AJ going back to TNA, things like that. And like I said, Rey Mysterio can go to AAA where he came from and win that title. So I really do like this relationship. I don't see it as negative as some of the things they pulled off with TNA.
I'll give you that. And yeah, I'm definitely, of course, being a fan of facets of all things professional wrestling. Seeing CMLL and AEW and AAA on WWE, it's like day and night with the two, but they seem to gel quite well together in their respective partnerships. And so far, Don Mysterio winning the AAA Mega Championship and Rey Mysterio putting him out his ways. A hell of an encompassing moment for this bright young luchador and rising WWE star / workers of the year of 2025 across the entire WWE landscape. Ethan Page going after a heel to Dr. Wagner Jr.'s Latin American Championship, adding that sub feud there. And now you have the Omos and the Little Man together going after possibly the AAA Tag Team Championships. The Wyatt Six confronted them at one point. That's more damn bizarreness than I ever thought I would need to see. And again, Ash got to call puppet versus puppet, so she already had a highlight for the year. So there you go. I will say, honestly, as someone who's very critical towards the WWE style and presentation and everything feeling like a reality show versus pro wrestling, where, I'm not going to lie, some of the stuff in AAA feels like a Telemundo special when you look at it, honestly. Especially freaking Mr. Iguana and Lola Vites right now. And you can see some of the AAA segments backstage with those two and La Hiedra. But yeah, so far, it seems that it's been pretty 50-50, but now they need to figure out what to do with the AAA champions that are involved in WWE and the gold they hold, where they're only holding it versus presenting it. Hell, they're not even defending those AAA type titles in WWE. And I would like to see actually more of that to really show how even the titles are and the importance of preserving the presentation and the partnership with AAA. Then again, they own this. So I guess they can do whatever the hell they want. But so far, it seems like they're treating them with justice. And even Conan right now seems to agree with this partnership, as we've seen Coleman and Corey Graves come back to his own. Corey Graves finding that passion once more too, which is nice to see, because I think Corey Graves has a lot of potential to be the next play-by-play guy in WWE. I really do. What do you guys say real quick? And I just see Charles hand.
Do they own the library too? And like, where can I watch old AAA matches? Because I want to catch up on the company's history.
I think they're still figuring that out, but I would say since they acquisitioned them, they are proprietary owners. Again, 49-51, TKO has primary hold over them. So I would say yes, but the only other source I know you can watch AAA through is YouTube's, unless there is like some other subscribing service that I don't know about. But yeah, I imagine they got to figure that out, or maybe they'll dedicate it to their own AAA YouTube channel with WWE branding on it, or a
maybe they'll add it to the Netflix library of Raw or something. I don't know.
Yeah, about to say, maybe in Select Markets, but only time will tell. Again, we're not even 1 full year yet in this partnership, and so far it seems like everything's fine. Let's see if it stays that way. Charles, I did see your hand. What you guys say real quick?
And I will admit about the AAA thing, it's just so funny. I'm about to probably annoy it here in a minute. I'll bring up one individual, El Grande Americano. It's so funny, the contrast. On Raw, he's a heel. But, and this is the funniest thing, in AAA, until he shows up in Mexico, the most over babyface.
What the hell?
It's so funny.
Ridiculous is what it is. Ridiculous.
Hey, it's awesome. I ain't complaining. It's like it's worth it.
You gotta give Kaiser the credit too. The fact that he knows that much Spanish and can pull this character off. I think he's taking it to high stake. Chad Gable couldn't, unless I don't know if Chad speaks Spanish, but that was awesome.
It's just like it's like sitting here going, this is ridiculous. It's like, how am I supposed to hate this guy? I'm supposed to boo this guy on Raw, but yet I want to cheer for him because he's over as heck in Mexico. It's like, what the heck? It's like, come on, keep going.
What we learned this year is Mexico is its own bizarro world. If you can speak bizarro in Espanol, I think it justifies my claims. But that being said, don't fuck this up. All right. Well, good job, everybody. That concludes the first quarter of the year. As we go to Walter with the latest in MMA, when we return from this commercial break, we will look at the immortal loss of the year with one Hulk Hogan. That and so much more as SRS News at 3 continues. We will see on the other side of this impromptu commercial. Thank you so much, by the way, for everyone that's tuning in and sharing your thoughts.
And now for a taste of things to come.
Forearm smashes, purchase Mercedes Monet. Of course, Alex Windsor coming off a great win against Nina Samuels, longtime former tag partner and, of course, rival. Last night on Ring of Honor, big headbutt. Again, using her head, quite literally. Bomb! Avalanche, Blue Thunder Bomb, but neither woman right now able to capitalize. Alex Windsor trying to go for something else here. Crawls away from the ropes, pulls the cover, hook on the far leg, a kick out it too. Damn it.
What a surprise. A Blue Thunder Bomb did not get the victory.
Shut the fuck up, JJ!
You gotta add the one where you got broken last night.
I hate you guys sometimes. And that being said, keyword guys.
No, you don't.
Trailer prior to that, of course, exudes and concludes. Here at the Sababa Studios, we always criticize, analyze, pontificate, cover, appreciate, discuss, and look into all the wrestling. And welcome back here to the SRS Newsroom. This is SRS News at 3. I am your leading anchor, the Cement Noel Foster, with Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz, our Canadian friend Ashton Charles Schultz. It is a bombing 61 degrees here in Toledo, Ohio. I hope the weather is treating you all well. In sports right now, the Sharks Canucks came off a great win, 6-3, while the Avalanche beat the Golden Knights 6-5, and the Ducks currently are unable to beat the Kings 6-1, while the Detroit Red Wings are right now trying to come back from behind against the Hurricanes as the Senators fell short to the Maple Leafs. For further details on all your hockey and sports, please check out Statboy Sports Bars. He covers Monday Night Football and then some Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As we continue on here in the year 2025. Okay. Well, that being said, as we move into our next leading story of the year, we've lost great icons in both entertainment, television, and wrestling. And whether or not you agree with him politically, you do remember the superstar that reminded you to say your prayers and take your vitamins, brother. As, of course, we lost this year, the immortal Hulk Hogan. Of course, Hulk Hogan's passing came at the age of 71. And, of course, conflict aside with the family, Jeff motherfucking Meacham, the biggest Hulkamania, of course, that we know, he was very torn, of course, when Hulk Hogan died. For those that are wondering, Hulk Hogan died Clearwater, Florida, 71 years of age. Emergency responders were called to his home due to cardiac arrest. The formal cause of death was determined by an acute myocardial infarction, a heart attack, and further known as chronic lymphocytic leukemia, also were part of contributing factors. Terry Jean Belair, of course, was part of many people's childhoods, primarily during the 80s and the 90s, as well as arguably part of the greatest heel turn of all time, leading the NWO. Hello. Of course, during the 83 weeks that Eric Bischoff and WCW ruled over the WWF, thus having a short return afterwards, having rivalries, of course, as Mr. America against Vince McMahon, having a fallout with, of course, Shawn Michaels, Brock Lesnar, etc., etc., etc. But Mr. Americana right here in the red and yellow was literally a pioneer of patriotism and encouragement for generations. Before we move on, does anyone else have anything, of course, further to say regarding the passing of Hulk Hogan as a tribute to the professional wrestling business? We will go right down the line, and Walter, I will start with you.
He's the first superstar, seriously, of my generation. He brought wrestling to what it is today. Despite the Terry Bollea and what he does, the character of Hulk Hogan, there will never be another one like him. Rest in peace. I don't want to talk negative about him, but what he did for the wrestling industry, it would not be what it is today had it not been for this man. We would not be sitting here talking about the retirement of John Cena if it wasn't for this man and everything that they done. I would hate to see what the wrestling industry would be if it wasn't for him. So despite whatever personal issues or personal problems you have with the human being Terry Bollea, you have to learn to separate it. And thank you, Hulk, for everything you've done.
Very well said, my friend. Ash, again, I don't know how far your fandom goes back to, but of course, Hulk Hogan was part of one of the biggest immortal moments in WrestleMania history when, of course, he faced The Rock in what felt like the biggest match at the time in WrestleMania history. Two icons of their generation, two immortals on the grandest stage of them all. And, of course, he did move forward through TNA, but he and Eric Bischoff, Dixie Carter booking aside, they did take the company in a whole nother direction. He also was an influence in Antonio Inoki and Inokiism. At one point, Hulk Hogan and Antonio Inoki held, of course, the IWGP Tag Team Championships. As I spoke with you verbatim, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, we would not even have the G1 Climax as we know it. So what are your thoughts on Hulk Hogan's passing? This contributes to professional wrestling.
It was very polarizing, especially on Twitter, because not only did it brought out a lot of positive emotions, but it brought out a lot of negative emotions towards that people had. And I understand where people are coming from, because it's hard for some wrestling fans to separate the character from the person, because Hulk Hogan himself had a hard time separating the two characters as well, being himself and Hulk Hogan, because they kind of became one. I really what you say about Hulk Hogan as the person, the person playing Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, the character, did a lot for mainstream pro wrestling, or helping make pro wrestling mainstream, especially in Canada and the US, and the worldwide appeal he had. It's the passing of Hulk Hogan is very bittersweet, because there are people who don't care for Hogan because they didn't grow up with him, and then there's people who grew up with Hulk Hogan and that have that special attachment to him. Say what you will about Hulk Hogan, he's done a lot for pro wrestling, and for that I say thank you, and that's all I can say about the matter.
Yeah, fair enough. My sister and my mother, they grew up on Hulk Hogan, of course, during his peak in the 80s. Of course, the stories with Ultimate Warrior, and of course, the mega powers with, of course, Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. And of course, being truly Mr. McMahon's true face of what he wanted to see in sports entertainment, crossing over in mainstream media with, of course, the A-Team, the Hulk Hogan cartoon, movies. Of course, he and Mr. T, Up in the Fool. They, of course, were a part of headlining what became the Showcase of the immortals. WrestleMania 1 in Madison Square Garden with Liberace and Bob Orton and everybody out that you could possibly have, including who should be a WWE Hall of Famer at this point, Cyndi Lauper, and I will die on that mountain. But yeah, his contributes to what wrestling has become. A lot of it, if you were to move him from the timeline, I don't think wrestling would actually come to be in where it is now. Even for those people that we don't care about in the business, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, would Goldberg have the accredited fame that he did off his 2 moves if he didn't beat Hulk Hogan for the WCW Heavyweight Championship? Say what you will about the man beyond the mat, but the man inside the ring, his contributions to the wrestling business are truly immortal. Charles, any closing thoughts you have regarding Hulk Hogan's passing and how it affected you as a fan at all of him or professional wrestling?
Oh boy, oh boy. Well, I will admit, I started watching WWE around 2004. I got into it. I didn't see Hogan because I was born way after. Well, Hogan was at WCW, and my family was more WWE. Obviously, because my mother and my or dad sit through the Hogan era, sit through all that whole generation. So when I got to watch Hogan stuff in 2005, I like there's no denying it. If there wasn't a Hulk Hogan, we wouldn't be talking about wrestling or whatever it would be today. Just hands down. We will not be sitting here right now, all of us here, or anybody watching. If you like him or not, whatever, it doesn't matter. Wrestling would not be the same, wouldn't be the way they say if there was no Hulk Hogan. And with that, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. That's all I can say for that.
Well,
one other thing.
Go for it.
Anybody who's went from wrestler to actor, that transition would not happen if it wasn't for Hogan. He was the first to be doing that, make it so mainstream where he crossed over into other television and acting. So The Rock wouldn't have the career he has. John Cena wouldn't have the career he has. Batista wouldn't have the career he has, and on and on and on. So he was that first crossover so the movie industry wouldn't even be the same.
Well said. And again, regardless whether you're a professional wrestling fan, sports entertainment is a foodist, cartoon consumer, movie aficionado, ongoer, archivist, you recognize the name Hulk Hogan from some capacity of mainstream entertainment into the squared circle and vice versa. You realize his contributions. All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Before we move into our next headline, Walter Cruz, of course, has shared me some key notes regarding UFC and, of course, the accessibility with, of course, UFC content soon enough going through the Paramount Plus subscription service, which should allow for a significant cost reduction, thus allowing more people to buy into a pay-per-view event individually and possibly explore and support the MMA, of course, the forum, of course, right now led by Dana White for the men and women, of course, of the Octagon. But it also will increase the price of its streaming service in early 2026, as other forums, of course, do, due to new rights and more exposure to the sport, though, might outweigh that cost. So, again, we will see what happens. Please stay tuned for Walter Cruz, our leading MMA expert, who will continue to cover the UFC and Bloodsport for the foreseeable future. Walter, is there any key matches you have on your mind that you're excited to call with either you or James coming up with the UFC show coming up in January?
The first Paramount, we're covering it. I gotta have JJ add it into the trailer, but that first one, yeah, Patty Pembleton's on there against Justin Gaethje. You got the return of the GOAT, in my opinion, female MMA superstar Amanda Nunes going after the bantamweight female title again. Yeah, that whole first pay-per-view is ridiculous. Like, it might even turn you into a fan, Noah, if you watch that, because you never know which of these women can turn into professional wrestlers after too. And the biggest thing about it last year, if you think about it, it cost me $960 to be a UFC fan for the entire year. If you think about it, it cost $900 and about $60. I'm rounding up for every pay-per-view because it's about $80 per pay-per-view.
Jeez.
Now with the cost of it's probably going to cost at maximum $200. Less than that, depends on if you get the yearly service. You get the yearly service, it's going to be like $150. Look at that decrease from being a UFC fan. The UFC pay-per-view model is completely gone. They still have their own app if you want to like go back in history to watch any UFC event ever in its entirety. You can see individual fights on YouTube and stuff. They release it like when, let's say John Jones has another fight, they're gonna release like his last fight on you, so you can see it completely on YouTube in its entirety. That's how they do it. But yeah, $960. So that's like let's say it costs almost $200. That's over $600 of saving now with this Paramount Plus deal. Plus, for those that love CBS, Paramount Plus, you add that, you get your South Park, you get anything on Comedy Central, you get football. That's CBS. Like right now, I can't watch the Seattle game because it's on CBS and Sling TV doesn't have that. So there's a lot of benefits of getting Paramount Plus, and as soon as plus they give you, they're getting rid of the free trial right before this UFC deal, so they know what they're doing. So get your free trial now. They give you a week free, and then you start paying. But I'm waiting until January when I subscribe to the PayPal, and I guess I'm at PayPal. Paramount, I'm not sure if it's a one service. Hopefully it's two. That way me and James can share it when we watch the UFC. But we'll see it. It costs a hell of a lot less to be an MMA fan now.
Sounds like it's going to cost you even less to be a WWE fan when we talk about that in our later segments. But thank you for that, Walter. Again, folks, our lead MMA expert, Walter Cruz. Thank you so much. And Charles, here with a quick thought from our last topic. Born in 1998 during the era of WWE, so he didn't get to see WCW all the way until after WCW was bought out to see what he missed. Of course, the WWE Network back in its heyday, the greatest era of being a professional wrestling fan for WWE anyways, was $9.99 shoved down your throats all the time. But anyway, and of course, you could watch.
Then they kept giving free trials over and over again. WWE constantly.
And they knew it. They were about giving everybody a chance to engage versus those that only can afford to engage in the time that we live now. Why is that a monopoly? But that's a whole different conversation. Stay tuned. By the way, at Super Reliable Gaming, we might bring forth a Monopoly live stream. Stay tuned. Charles, I did see your hand. We got super quick before we move on to our next topic, and it's going to be a dark one.
Oh well, yeah. But I was also more. I did see. Was going on YouTube around 05 and 06, so I did see all the Hogan stuff. But yeah, I will admit, I do miss the freaking WWE Network. That was a lot easier. So that was a lot easier to have for a year compared to this, because everything's on one roof. Now it's a pain in the ass to catch up with everything. And also, they really get rid of the free trial for Paramount, Walter.
They're getting rid of it as of January 10th, I think. Right before it's like the week right before UFC, because they know everybody's just going to sign up to watch that UFC.
Okay, wow.
Smart business strategy. He's not wrong.
You know what? Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's like that's crazy for people that don't know how much MMA generates. It's literally $1 billion per year. They have a $7.7 billion 7-year contract with Paramount. That is $1 billion per year.
Literally, he's not wrong. MMA is very popular. A lot of these ridiculous amount of money, but yes, it's worth it.
And I can never go live because tickets costs are ridiculous. I try to go to a John Jones fight, like they literally want $1,000 for like nosebleed. That's why I feel like it's TKO that did that to WWE too.
Yeah, but somehow they still have the audiences not AI generated yet, and apparently it's enough to at least show a full arena to a degree on our screens. But we never see the hard cam side. Gee, I wonder why. That being said, you think about people that have crossover from UFC to the world of wrestling. We talk about, of course, Levi's from Lita Rada, of course, from Bellator MMA. Bobby Lashley, of course, undefeated in Bellator MMA. Brock Lesnar, freaking Rampage Jackson at the one point in TNA when they had that little tidbit there. Women, of course, we talk about Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Desmond Duper, Marina Shafir, the original 4 horsewomen, of course, of MMA. And again, I'm sure we're not going to stop there, because the difference is, though, in MMA, while you only get a fight in 45 seconds, those women and men legit fuck each other up. And it's not scripted. Someone gets fucked up and wins via knockout or rep decision, or if it goes to 5 rounds. It is simple as that, but it's damn right dangerous and physical. So, just saying. All right, Charles, did see your hand real quick. What you got to say real quick before we move on to our...
and also, considering the names you also mentioned, too, you have outside Tito Ortiz, he was involved in some of the cool big moments when he was referee. Twice over for TNA. 2 TNA World title changes.
Bobby Roode,
James Storm. Yeah, well, not Bobby Roode, James Storm.
Yeah.
I'm talking about-
Well, he was an enforcer, but I get what you're saying.
Well, no, that was K-Mo you're referring to.
That's
You're
K-Mo,
thinking
I'm
of.
sorry. Yeah,
But Tito Ortiz refereed the freaking AJ Styles and Jeff Jarrett, Justice 2004, and then 05 Mount Guard, Rhino, and Jeff Jarrett. So twice over, Tito Ortiz has been involved in moments where the TNA World Title changed hands.
That was back when TNA had more of its own identity versus becoming a similarity. But all right.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for that. Now we move into our next topic here. Speaking of people between WWE, UFC, professional versus amateur, I'm sorry that, of course, with news comes bad news and also news you wish you could forget. Let's go ahead and briefly, I mean fucking briefly, talk about the Rajah Johnson incident. The Rajah Johnson incident, of course, was one of the biggest stories of this year due to the fact that someone legitimately nearly died because somebody was way too out of their element and no one apparently did something about it. Of course, this refers to a brutal, unscripted assault by the son of former UFC champion Quentin Rampage Jackson on professional wrestler Stuart Psycho Stu Smith during a wrestling event in August 2025. Of course, it was live streamed, and of course, he was charged for a felony due to multiple injuries. Earlier in the day, Smith came in as a character, as a pro wrestler, hit Jackson with a prop beer, a can outside the venue, and later on, Smith apologized to a degree to a bit of a retaliatory move as part of the night show. It was supposed to be scripted for our entertainment performance. But during the match, he went into the ring in street clothes and went off the fucking script. Body slam Smith delivered 20 full force punches. You remember when freaking Braun Strowman tried to be legitimate badass against Brock Lesnar and Brock hit him one time and almost concussed the man? This is what happens when you try and fucking be something that you're not. Afterwards, though, Smith sustained a serious head injury, facial fractures, including to the maxilla bone, a lacerated lip, and lost several teeth, and spent several days in intensive care before being released from the hospital. And of course, Naga's Pro Wrestling Academy condemned the act, saying it was selfish and irresponsible act of violence that never should have happened. And why Rampage Jackson publicly apologized for his son's actions, calling it bad judgment and a work that went wrong, you cannot freaking pay back the time that you made that man lose versus almost taking someone live. Leading experts in wrestling pundits, by the way, suggested that Jackson acted with premeditation, as was reported, overheard on his live stream, saying he intended to generally hurt Smith to get him back. When you are genuinely trying to hurt somebody in this business, you already are not for this business. Get the fuck away. Someone pull a restraining order. Someone stop it before it happens. All parties involved are outside the innocent party should have taken action and should have had repercussions. But again, I am not a judge. You guys can be the judge all you want. But this was a serious situation where, again, not everybody can be a professional wrestler without proper training and experience and guidance, despite the fact you are an expert in a different form of a mixed combat sports environment. That being said, let's go ahead. Again, one of the top headlines, unfortunately, this year, folks. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and briefly talk about this and what really comes down to when it comes to being a professional versus an amateur and knowing the difference between scripted and factual. With our UFC expert giving us the ideas on UFC to come in 2026, I will start this time with Walter when it comes to the fact we had a son of a UFC competitor try to act wrestler and nearly killed somebody because he was not wrapped tight in the head. Walter, is there anything you really want to add to this besides the fact don't let an amateur be something they're not and make sure next time you know who you're dealing with?
Yeah, they should have never been happened. This is completely avoidable. And he was also egged on behind the stage. I did go back and interview. I interviewed someone directly involved in it and give you his side of things, but it should have never happened. And whatever consequences come his way, Raja 100% deserves it. I think he grew up privileged and spoiled because of who his dad was, so he never really understood consequences, and now he's going to have to face it head on. That's it.
All right, fair enough. Thank you for that. As we talk about all the time, that professional wrestling is its own portrayed act. It is an art form. It is performance art at the forefront, except for what happens at the end when the bell rings. Other than that, you're acting on the idea of what you're trying to give the audience what they're there to see. No one there right now is going to expect anything less than professional wrestling being what everyone's always called it, a carny act after acts like this. It's amazing when moments last forever versus an incredible match altogether. So what do you guys say regarding this horrible incident and precautionary measures and how we could have possibly avoided it?
I'm just thankful that Stu is alive and he's
Amen to
doing
that.
much better now. Whatever the I don't know what the legality of it is, but whatever repercussions Jackson gets, it's just how am I gonna say this? Whatever he gets sentenced to, hopefully it fits with the incident. If I'm trying to explain it, like I just like because the whole thing of like you do the crime, you do the time.
Yeah.
Then whatever he's sentenced to, if he is, they follow through with it. Because this was like super heinous. It should not have happened. And it's also on the management too, like the schooling as well. It all comes down to the management because I don't remember which who said it, but they got it like how that what the school was. They reign that everything's a work when that should not be the case. And it's because of this incident that with the WWE's ID program, they monitor what schools they associate themselves with. And also, so it's also precautionary tale of who can and who cannot be allowed in the backstage area as well to prevent this from happening ever again.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you for that. And again, it should have been on the promoter. It should have been on the parent. It should have been on his agent. Everybody here should have been involved in preventing this from happening altogether with the slightest instinct thinking this guy is not here to cooperate because he's not in the right mindset. Right or wrong mentality or not, you nearly had a murder happen on your own product. That could be a black note on your business and the professional wrestling business, as we know. Even independence is professional wrestling business because that grind that those men and women do all the time to get to the main stage, whether they succeed or not by the company's outline, that is still their dream, their desire, their work, and their chosen career to provide for themselves and their families. And someone foolishly almost took that away from somebody altogether, causing a domino effect. Charles, anything further you want to add regarding this incident before we close the book on this forever?
Oh boy. This should have not happened. And yet it freaking did. And it's fucked beyond belief. It's ridiculous. At least Stu's alive and well. That's at least the positive thing on that.
Amen.
Because if the worst happened, the repercussions would be even more on the. Oh, I don't want to. We all know how bad it would be, like bluntly in here.
Oh yeah.
Well, that would have been the case, but at least he was alive. It's what matters, and this should never happen again. Any promotion now or anything better be smart enough now to make sure to prevent this shit. That's all I gotta say on the matter. Leave it at that.
You go. Simple as that. At the end of the day, folks, if you believe someone is in need of help, help them. Don't let them ruin themselves or ruin somebody else. This should have never happened. And as good old JR says, tomorrow is never guaranteed. So treat today like a blessing and support and respect one another. And if you're not in the right mindset, don't let yourself be freelance because you're a spoiled, entitled fucking brat.
And don't egg people on too while you're at it.
Amen to that. All right. Well, thank you for that. I'm sorry we had to take this down a notch, but why don't we go ahead and light it up? Because out of one of the most worst situations of the year was one of the greatest returns of the year to professional wrestling and women's wrestling. To anybody that was tired of a fucking diva, to somebody that wanted to see somebody different, as simple as them, whether you're a nerd, a geek, whether you may not be mentally stable, or you could turn your own personality, your craziness into a superpower and an encouraging strength on a decade journey to find her own mentality and protect it from being a best-selling author to a better husband, always winning in the rings. There were shades, there was the talk, there was the pleading, there was the what if we could see once again AJ Lee. And it took a long time since 2015, but 10 years later, everyone's favorite wrestler's wrestler is back. AJ Lee, of course, made her return in Chicago, of course, after a segment with CM Punk, Seth freaking Rollins, and Becky Lynch. Of course, her last match was a Monday Night Raw shortly after WrestleMania 31, alongside Paige, formerly known as Saraya. And, of course, they were taking on the Bella Twins at the time. So it's one of those phases of looking at AJ Lee, who was a pioneer to anybody who wanted to be themselves and could be themselves, succeed in this business. AJ Lee was the one that delivered the pipe bomb and threw the high heels off and told everybody to suck it. They couldn't take a step and hurt Chuck Taylor's, and she proved it. Of course, one of the longest reigning Divas champions, that belt at the time in that era. And of course, now with this transcendent roster of incredible female competitors, including the prodigy Roxanne Perez, AJ Lee brings a new light and life to WWE and women in wrestling in general for this professional wrestling business. So simply put, I want to go around the horn, as this headline now is our next point of topic, and get your feelings towards AJ Lee's return. What program are you waiting to see her do next after she gets over Becky Lynch? And what do you see the future being with AJ Lee now involved in WWE full-time again? She has signed a multi-year contract to be a full-time perspective and presence and involvement in the WWE ecosystem, and her return alone got 130 million views in 24 hours. Shout out to Geekbox, by the way, that captured our reactions. Again, that was an incredible moment. I didn't think they were going to do it, but we heard the song, and again, this is the fucking woman that ruled in a Divas era, and now she's back. Cruelly Crazy is still her superpower, and we all love it. Let's go around the horn and get some thoughts on AJ Lee's return, what it meant, and what we hope it foretells for the future. I think it's only fitting to start with the lady first. Ash, I will start with you. What impact do you see AJ Lee bringing to WWE? Were you formerly a fan of her? And how excited were you to see her return against one of your favorites this generation, the man Becky Lynch, yet to go one-on-one in singles competition?
I absolutely loved her return because AJ was one of the first women's wrestlers who I gravitated towards, because if she was the first one where I was like, oh my God, this bitch is just like me. She is like, we are almost the same person.
Almost the same person.
It felt so good seeing I felt like I was finally being properly represented on TV through AJ. Here's this tiny person who's not afraid to be her quirky, dark, alternative self. And I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Especially when I was going through some mental issues of my own, some body positive, I was very self-conscious about my body. I was I hated the way I look. I hated how I was felt so different from the other females. And AJ Lee made me realize that there's nothing wrong with being small. There's nothing wrong with being dark, quirky, and alternative. So it's just, she was very empowering to me as someone who's just really is super hard on herself. And she made me realize your differences is what help you stand out and own up to your shit. And her and Punk in that match she had with Becky and Seth Rollins was one of my favorite matches of the year. It did exactly what it needed to be. it was just one of those good feel good moments, and AJ has not lost a step or a skip, if you will. And I hope that we see more of her in NXT, helping people like Tatum Paxley, JC Jane, and all the other girls down in NXT. That's what I want to see, AJ. I want to see her help the ladies in NXT and help be in programs with them and also potential feuds and help prepare for the future. Because a lot of the girls down in NXT and even on the main roster see AJ Lee the same way I do.
All right. Well said. Well, as somebody that was born developmentally delayed and extremely shy and introvert, and of course has brought a personality force since 2017 as a professional wrestling fan who wanted to see more than just freaking platinum blondes and overinflated front page models and freaking 2-minute matches and ballets with bra and panties and utter stupid nonsense for the simpletons of the freaking world that don't know the difference between a padlock and a wrist lock. AJ Lee was that spark in my life as a fan of anime, Dragon Ball Z, Code Lyoko. I am a nerd. I am / geek. I never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I love math, science, and computers, and I can give a fuck all about mainstream models on the freaking runway and those that live on Beverly Hills 90210. It wasn't about the freaking prima donnas of the world. It was about those that just wanted to be themselves and kick ass in the ring while doing it. Nobody was like AJ Lee before she came. Trish Stratus and Lita may have put maybe women's wrestling on the map for a moment with what they did with their feud. But since then, there was nobody like AJ Lee. Congrats to the Bellas. You went mainstream. You went reality. Whoop-de-freaking-do. You still cannot hold AJ Lee's Charteras for your life when it came to proving the competitor that she is and that anyone can do this being themselves. This young woman is the reason why we got the Roxanne Perez project as we know it. This incredible athlete and great role model is the reason Bayley stood true to herself as we know her and continued reinventing herself. And with that amazing crop of talent that you just named and further names to come, there is no telling where women's wrestling could go in WWE if they book and utilize AJ Lee correctly. Now, truth be told, AJ Lee has only been involved in 2 matches since her return. WrestlePalooza, and she barely got mixed warfare involved there, which kind of was a bit of a meh, still fun, and War Games, which at the end of the day, let's call it what it was. It was a 10-woman clusterfuck, and all that mattered was AJ Lee tapped out Becky Lynch again. Because the only women's story that matters right now is, when are we getting AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch? Are they literally going to push this out all the way to WrestleMania? Are we really going to do that? Can we wait that long? And is it meant to be held out for that? Like, seriously, I don't know. But bottom line, this woman back in WWE gives me true hope for the future of women's wrestling in general outside AEW, period. All right, that being said, Charles, let's get your thoughts on this. What does AJ Lee's return mean to you as a wrestling fan? And what sort of impact you hope she leaves in the future for the wrestling business?
First, the moment back in Clash in Paris, the moment that we saw Becky Lynch show up and help Seth, everybody like, oh shit, are they actually about to do it? Because, yeah, they could get somebody else for it, for the spot for the WrestlePalooza match. But realistically, there was only one person that made sense for the match, and that's AJ Lee. But the cards would have been on the table, would have been for her on that one. She wanted to come back. And well, she did. Because I will say this right now, that night when you guys, but JJ Walter called it, if it was anybody else, and we all know how the crowd could be in Chicago very well. Right. They could be very, not very nice at times. It will be very hostile.
Let's put it politely.
I put it politely. I love the Chicago, but it would have been very hostile that night if it was somebody else that came out instead of AJ Lee. But they got her, showed up, and it was great. And now we'll admit, 2 matches, and I am going to be, they are going to they're holding it till Mania.
What?
Because realistically, why they have not done the 1-on-1 match, even when Becky was IC champion?
Because that title, she lost that title. There's no need to do it now.
But Becky's facing Maxine again, the first Raw on Netflix for that damn championship again.
And
And
probably
here we
AJ
go.
Lee's.
With it, yeah.
And probably AJ Lee's going to show up again and screw over Becky.
AJ Lee could win the Rumble and get a women's title shot instead of the IC. You never
Now,
know.
well, AJ Lee showing up in the Rumble. Probably Becky's going to be the reason why she loses, and that says the Mania.
But you still got the Elimination Chamber in Chicago. But okay, I can
Well,
see.
that's also true. Yeah, I totally forgot the Chamber was in Chicago until you brought that up.
Anyway.
Well, the other Chamber is going to be very interesting. Depends on what the hell happens on January 5th. But for real, it's awesome to see AJ Lee back. And the amount of matches she could have. Yeah, once the Becky stuff over with, give us Roxanne Perez and AJ Lee very quickly after that.
Oh shit!
I think I'm not the only one that wants that.
Accurate.
I was gonna say I think I was certain Renegade probably would agree with me on that.
I think he would actually agree. He would want Liv Morgan involved in that match, and I don't think he can stand Liv Morgan.
AJ Lee versus Liv Morgan 1-on-1. Anything.
Watch me now. Truly, who's crazier and batshit crazy? You tell me.
Well, then again, I don't think Liv Morgan hasn't brought a chainsaw yet. Unlike Tato Paxley. Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna Noah. You can't deny it.
Okay.
I was gonna say Liv's crazy, but they're just Tato Paxley.
Checkmate.
Not even Alaska can cheer up Tatum Paxley. That tells you much.
It's fair enough. All right. Well, thank you.
AJ Lee versus Tatum will be awesome. And also Charlotte, Alexa, Rhea, Io.
Give me
Bayley.
versus Io.
Oh wow!
There's like so many matches now because there's so many people that showed up. Like I said, Charlotte, because also not just Becky that showed up on the main roster saying your AJ left. Charlotte as well.
Alexa
You could do
Bliss.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly. There's so many options.
there's so many, man. So I guess we'll see.
I wouldn't mind AJ holding in either woman's title again. Not the IC, not just the IC title or the US, either the main ones.
That's a fair shout, but it does. I mean, she was going after Becky, not after the championship. But again, she did cover that championship one night. I mean, it looked pretty good on her. All right, fair enough. So far, though, I'm glad they're trying to with Maxine, though, because I love her badass attitude. Hope they keep up with it and don't fuck her up. But you're right. It does bring so much potential for dream matches in the future. It's just a matter of how they book it. But holding out for Becky versus AJ at WrestleMania, that's a strong shout, knowing you got another Chicago PLE prior to that. But I do think the next chapter will be literally at Saudi Rumble. So,
But I was going to say, too, and besides, you want to have Becky be more hated and more personal, have Becky screw not only AJ at the Rumble, but also the Chamber in Chicago. That will just set everything off to knowing going, yep, that's your Mania match right there. And might as well, it could be a straight up normal match when you got that Chicago crowd pissed off. Because imagine the promos after that, if Becky would have done that at Chamber. Whew. Oh, boy. That'll be fun.
I mean, it'll be good television. It may actually make me go watch Netflix versus WWE matches on YouTube, where it's like, again, fuck streaming.
You post the full segments on YouTube, so.
True. All right. Well, fair enough, Charles. Thank you for that. Walter, again, you were waiting for us to light it up during that stream, and I remember you were the first one to react after I went freaking what and jumped out of my chair. AJ Lee being back in WWE with her original theme. Thank Christ. Again, fuck Death Rebel. And right now, we're just waiting to see the first program. You know what really grinds my... No, I'm not doing that tonight. Anyway, Walter, your thoughts on AJ Lee's return. What did it mean to you, and how are you looking forward to where it leads to? You're muted. There we go.
It meant a lot. I was so happy. Like I knew when they started doing the Becky and Seth, I was like, yo, AJ's coming back. They're gonna reference it. Like I just had the feeling. So she meant a lot. What I'm looking forward to, I just don't know why Becky lost the US title. But I really thought they were gonna make AJ win it. But then they went in a different direction. I would love to see her get back to the young girls and go down to NXT, because you can give me, like you said, Tatum Paxley, but you can give me Lola versus AJ.
There it is.
Jada Parker versus AJ. You could do a lot. Plus, you got the AAA relationship. You could do her versus anybody in AAA. You could do her versus anybody in TNA. Any of the TNA knockouts. Like, what if she wins the knockout championship and brings it to WWE? Yeah, I know you don't like that because of the relationship. You don't like WWE people winning the titles, but I mean, that how much more mainstream can you get if you put it on the main roster?
I say all I'm gonna say is this: AJ Lee versus Killer Kelly, ejecting in my veins, take my fucking money. Continue.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's a lot you can do with her. So, I love the fact that she's full time, but they did take her television. Maybe she's doing reps and trying to get the rust off backstage, and that's why she's not on TV as much.
That's
But
fair. She hasn't had a singles match yet. You're absolutely right.
yeah, she might be. Hey, who knows? She might be working with Natty in the dungeon, and we don't know it. So, I'm looking forward to just seeing what they do. She has to be a surprise entry, even if she doesn't win the Rumble. I like your idea of Becky screwing her out of the Rumble, and then that leads to their one-on-one. That could be a thing. And then, if I kind of wish Becky was the women's world champion, because then you have AJ win the Chamber in Chicago, and that leads to the WrestleMania match, and then she beats Becky for the title. But I don't want Becky to get the title now. She should have already had it, won a bunch of matches, and then AJ could be the one. So I don't know what they plan on doing with the Chamber, and I do see your hand, Charles.
Hold on, finish up, Walter, and then we'll go to Charles, because I'm sure
that's about it. I'm just looking for. Just do anything with AJ, but I do want her to go back down like how they did Becky before. Go down to NXT, do a few. You don't have to win titles, but just give us a few dream matches. Show her on both. Plus, like I said, it gives repetition. It gives you all the reps you need to get any rust you have off, and it gives back to the new generation. So Punk showed up in NXT a few times, so why not do it?
I mean, Jesse Jane, AJ Lee could be a very interesting promo off, and no matter what, why I hate this Timu Toxic Attraction, Jesse Jane has been a standout this year, despite the WTF against Steve Valkyrie. Still don't agree with that decision. She's trying to not be the second wheel, and she's been the front runner for the NXT Women's Division. But personally, I would like Kendall Gray to upset her, and that's just my own personal opinion, because I want to see somebody that is not your typical women's wrestler, that has an all-collegiate background, and is one hell of a grappler. Then again, they couldn't do jack shit with Chad Gable. God forbid give him a title. Nonetheless, I do think AJ Lee going down to NXT is a very interesting idea, and it would be unique for her to give, even if nothing else, a promo class on the women down there in NXT, considering most of them aren't even wrestlers. They were just new athletes out of some sort of collegiate athletic program. I mean, hell, Kendall Gray, she had an amateur background in wrestling and wrestled men. She's the closest fame to previously being a wrestler without ever being a wrestler to begin with. And I also think that Nikita Knight, you all know her better as Fia Hale, could also learn a figure or two from AJ Lee as well, because girl needs some decaf, but she's about as spontaneous as AJ Lee is on her worst day, for being perfectly honest. So I do see what you're saying there, Walter. It's a fair shout. Charles, I did see your hand. What do you got to say real quick?
And besides, too, because I know AJ Lee didn't have, she was not around after WrestlePalooza. That was mostly due to her promoting her new books, the book tours, to be fair. So there's probably going to be moments where probably not going to see AJ for a good bit because she was on a promotion tour. So get used to that. If she disappears for a good, feels like a long time, while, it'll probably have something to do with either taking time a little bit off or book tour promoting. That's probably a little bit. Yeah, so basically that's probably one of two things to consider too. But also, I definitely, and also Ruka versus AJ Lee would be ridiculous.
Freaking trapping her out of the Soul Snatcher and the Black Widow. Holy hell.
Okay, if that happens, I'm going to go back to this day going, no, did you see the future?
I mean, it's not the first time I've done it. Just saying. Fair enough.
That'll be a little too crazy, though. Because I was thinking you see the
We're
future.
talking about.
I know. Well, hey, I said crazy, and now we're talking about AJ. Perfect timing.
All right. Fair
Word
enough.
for it.
Yeah, fair enough. Bottom line, we're just waiting for AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch, and I think Ash wants to be on the call personally for that match, if I had to guess, as I see her cheeky smile down at the bottom. Ash approved. AJ Lee, welcome back. Becky, you about to get fucked up. All right, good stuff, everybody. All right, we're going to take another short commercial break. When we return from the other side of this intermission, we are going to talk more about the biggest headlines in wrestling this year from WWE, including what has made official in Saudi Arabia for the Showcase of the Immortals. That's so much more. We return back here at the Simply Reliable News here on the Simply Reliable Studios. Stay tuned.
And now for a taste of things to come.
Promotional consideration provided by the following. Please follow After the Slam on your local news feed, as most recently they had an interview of our Canadian friend Ash, that of course is Ash at Bag for Wrestling. Don't be a dickhead. Subscribe today to Bag's Army. Become part of Ash's Army today at Bag for Wrestling, as me and her will lead a Super Dating on Wrestling 20, and go listen to the After the Slam podcast. Subscribe and support them today. And as always, here in the Super Reliable Studios, we truly encompass, embrace, celebrate, engage, pontificate, analyze, criticize to all the wrestling. And welcome back here to Super Reliable Studios News, as we cover the biggest headlines that have happened throughout 2025, as we are about to bid this year a fine adieu. I am, of course, your lead anchor, Noah Foster, along with Mr. Reliable, Walter Cruz, Charles Schultz, and our Canadian friend, Ash. Before we move into our next topic, Ash, first and foremost, how was that interview, by the way? Did you have a good time? And what was your biggest takeaway overall from that experience?
It was so fun. We had like a little technical difficulties and hiccups, but after we got that all fixed up, it went very well. I had such a blast talking, and then I think and he mentioned like how he would like me to be on the show again. I just don't know when, and I can't wait for that, because I had such a fun time talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling on that podcast, because of course I did.
Sounds like my type of podcast, but again, you and I already are going to do some predicting for Wrestling 20 on January 1st. So first off, congratulations on getting that great opportunity, and I do hope you get it again. Again, folks, please follow, of course, contributing partners to the Super Reliable Studios family of communications After the Slam. Again, you can find them, of course, on the social medias. So stay tuned for more interviews, I'm sure, with them, us, and who knows who else beyond that. And again, stay tuned, folks. Time to be determined, but me and Ash have decided officially to sit and predict Wrestle Kingdom 20, January 1st. The first official city predicting of the new calendar year, and I will be doing a forum as a city predicting exhibition. So stay tuned for more on that, and all are welcome to join in as, of course, we literally discuss Wrestle Kingdom 20 in its entirety, including a retirement match for Rosa Tanahashi and Yota Tsuji, who will defend his Global Championship against the Alpha, Kenosis Takeshita, ran defending IWGP Heavyweight Champion. That and so much more as the women look to take one step closer to an all-stardom Tokyo Dome event as Saya Kamatari defends the British Strong Women's Championship against the IWGP Women's Champion, Suri, winner take all. That and so much more. Wrestle Kingdom 20, January 4th from Tokyo Dome. And we will be coming here live in the Super Reliable Studios. City predicting January 1st. Time to be determined. Please stay tuned. All right. Well, thank you so much for that again, Ash. And again, thank you to all those that are tuning in, by the way, whether live or on demand. Please subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. And of course, you want to dictate the conversation, Super Chat or PayPal of Passions. It is truly as simple as that. As the headlines continue here for the biggest stories of 2025, we, of course, talk about one of the biggest headaches in our lives when it comes to WWE. And of course, that is the partnership with what once used to be called Country Redacted. But at the end of the day, over the years, we have seen more of a mutual showcasing and respect to the talent of WWE, at least it seems on screen, not to mention the encompassing showcase of the women, including next month, we are going to have Saudi Rumble, as the Royal Rumble will be in Saudi Arabia, including the first time ever, we will have 30 women competing, all dressed, in Saudi Arabia in the first ever Saudi Arabia Women's Royal Rumble match. I have thoughts about that, but I will leave that alone for the time being. But that's not also the only big thing going on since TKO and WWE merged together, as we've seen UFC fights also involved, of course, in Saudi Arabia, as come 2027, Wrestle Kingdom 43 will be from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
You mean WrestleMania?
WrestleMania, yes. I'm about to say I am fucking tired as well, so you know what?
Wow, good job, Noah.
Botch. Thank you, by the way, for being aware of that, Charles. Yes, WrestleMania 43. Of course, this announcement was made back on ESPN on September 12, 2025. For the first time ever, WrestleMania will take place outside North America region to showcase the Immortals in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Of course, WrestleMania has always been particularly shown here in North America, in America, and one time, of course, in Canada. Since the inception of 1985, of course, WWE CCO Paul Triple H Levesque teased the idea of the company's biggest event traveling overseas as WWE has become more of a global outreach, as we have seen in many of their PLEs, in towns including not limited to Germany, the UK, in an attempt, of course, France, Italy, Puerto Rico, Australia, you freaking name it. Of course, this formal announcement comes just days after the Turk guy, Alash Khashoggi, chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, was seen on a since-deleted Snapchat live video stating that WrestleMania will make its move to Saudi Arabia in 2027. As part of the Riyadh season in 2027, our vision is to elevate this iconic event to unprecedented heights and deliver a WrestleMania unlike anything the world has ever seen. Of course, WWE has been in cahoots with Saudi Arabia since 2018 when the promotion and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia agreed to a $1 billion deal that would see the company run multiple shows, and we've seen multiple times Crown Jewel particularly ran from Saudi Arabia. And this deal, of course, will be over the next 10 years, meaning it comes up in 2028 for renewal. Again, this year in 2026 coming up, the Royal Rumble will take place, one of the big four. Yes, there are only big four in WWE. Shut the fuck up. Money in the Bank doesn't count. And now we know the biggest show of WWE's calendar year, WrestleMania 43, will take place in 2027 from this very region. You can tell how excited everybody was during this press conference. I'm just saying. Let's go ahead and get y'all's thoughts on WWE's global localization reaching new heights as the showcase of the Immortals will now take place for the first time ever outside of America in Saudi Arabia in 2027. Let's go ahead and kick things off this time with Charles. I will start with you. What do you think this means for the American fan base of WWE and their outlook maybe towards Saudi Arabia in general? Do we expect 1 million Americans, figuratively speaking, to travel all the way from the comfort of home across the world to this country where you risk being stoned if you're out of term with your wife in particular, etc.? Do we expect people from all over the world to culminate in Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania? Or will this be truly an in-country showcase for the royal family and the citizens of this country? Charles, what do you got to say about this announcement? What do you think the outlet's going to be?
One, first of all, I will just say this now because you brought up 2018. It was inevitable that we're going to get Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Not greatest Royal Rumble, full blown January Royal Rumble in Saudi. We knew as soon as the Rumble was announced for Saudi, it was like, well, WrestleMania is next. It's only a matter of when, not if, but when. And then it happened. And yeah, everybody did look. Everyone was not very excited in this picture.
I think there's a reason Seth Rollins is wearing sunglasses indoors and not at night, so he can.
And also we have Taker and Sean there. I think we all want to forget. 2018, first year, everybody.
Sorry, that was about to throw up in my mouth. The less we talk about that, the better. Continue.
Yeah, let's continue. But as far as there probably will be some Americans, not all, because I'm more concerned about the independent scene during that week more than anything. Because now WrestleMania's not going to be in the U.S. or any other country that could be able to do the indies. It's like that's like the bigger question to worry about. I figure honestly, it's like what the hell's going to happen to Mania week?
That's a fair point.
And it's just like that's like yikes. Because look, if WrestleMania would have went to somewhere, I'll just throw hypothetically here, France, just because it would be hilarious, is all hell.
Oh yeah, right. I'm sure it would be freaking hilarious considering what happened the one damn time. Of course, we talked about France being the. The only
damn it! Not again! Not again!
Back to this country with the Eiffel Tower and the Art Loan at the little. Anyway, continue.
I had to use that for an example. Okay, we want me to do, but at least
country next time.
Well, hey, this at least well, at least the indies will go there. Indie Coast will go there because it'll be easy to set up. Shows there. That way, we'll go there.
Right.
I don't think any company wants to go to Saudi. That'll be interesting. And also, how many people we're going to get from that come out of retirement for WrestleMania for Saudi?
Well, considering probably the biggest payday of their fucking lives, considering we know that this guy's got more money out of his ass than probably the whole country combined, wouldn't surprise me one bit, let alone the pyro display that might burn down the building.
Probably. But we'll figure out from there. But yeah. Saudi Mania was going to happen. It's only a matter of when, not if. And well, which is now annoying. We're going back to Vegas, and then we're going to Saudi right afterwards.
Yeah, you're going from one desert jewel to another desert jewel, but the other one has flaws of a whole different sort due to being politically incorrect in many people's minds. Again, non-judgmental, indifferent, individualism for life. All right. Well, thank you for that, Charles. That being said, Walter, you realize what this means. You, me, or JJ are going to be calling the first ever WrestleMania from Saudi Arabia. Fuck me. Now, that being said, though, also, it probably be on Saudi Arabian time, meaning it will not be 7 o'clock at night. It's probably going to be 10 o'clock in the damn morning with a 3-hour pre-show and a 4-hour main show, 2 straight damn nights. So that being said, to Charles' point, WrestleMania is the biggest showcase of the year for everyone in WWE then and now. This could be the biggest payday in any W superstar's life. But how much is money valuable to you versus your own well-being and your mentality, knowing the risk you have in this country? You figure out this. How many W superstars do not go to Saudi Arabia already for their own reasons and might be encouraged now, quote unquote, because it's WrestleMania and all hands are going to be needed. If you're not going to be on the show, you're going to be at a meet and greet. If you're not going to be at a meet and greet, you're going to be at a media showcase. And to Charles' point, the independent scene, Stardom, all those promotions, you expect AAA to have a crossover show with WWE in Saudi Arabia? There's a lot of big questions and I think big concerns non-business wise for WWE versus the rest of the business where WWE, let's call it what it is, they're trying to shut it out. If it's not WWE, they don't give a fuck. So it's one of those things right now where I am truly concerned, where people are concerned that WWE might be killing the independent scene. WID be damned. And Saudi Arabia might literally pigeonhole it. I would almost wonder, would WWE rumored to go to Las Vegas, I heard one time, to the Performance Center? Would that be the new mecca for all independent promotions to be showcased and WWE to scout and farm from them? Is this a bigger plan than we think of further things to come? Because Charles is right. Royal Rumble, original Royal Rumble, this coming year. Not looking forward to calling it at all right now. Gotta be generally honest. Freaking WrestleMania the following year. What? They're going to get SummerSlam in 2028? Jesus Christ almighty. Walter,
So
what's your
Noah,
thoughts on this?
so you put that in E for now, folks. If that gets announced, you know who to blame for that.
Shut the fuck up, Charles.
They're eventually gonna get every PLA. Like, I mean, it's just what it is. It's the business deal. We just have to deal with it. It will help people like us though, with like Aaron and stuff, getting early reviews because it's probably gonna be 7 a.m. in my time. So sucks getting up that early on a Saturday. But technically I work at 9, so I'll be up anyways.
Oh, you freaking lightweights with your dead gum sleep apnea nonsense and freaking excuses. Continue.
Yeah, but yeah, whatever. A business deal is a business deal. You either watch it or you don't watch it. Like, I don't really have much to say with it. Like, at the end of the day, the wrestling industry is what is it? It's a business. So the point of a business is to make money. If Saudi is what's going to give them the money, then they're going to go after it. I don't work for WWE. I don't have to twist my own morals or anything. So really, I don't really care. So that is what it is. They're gonna do it regardless. We can huff and puff all we want, and whoever wants to work it doesn't have to work it. Whoever works it is gonna work it. But I don't think anybody's gonna say no to that amount of money. But some people have morals and they're not gonna go there. So we'll see. Like, it's a whole year from now. Who knows what this world is gonna be like at that time? So, but I do think eventually they're gonna have at least one of each PLE, like, or the big four.
Yeah. And I can definitely see that happening. Of course, you see right now, Bianca Belair still out injured. Charlotte Flair, Shawn Michaels, Mark Galloway, Joe Tessitore, Liv Morgan, La Premiere Valkyrie, Logan Paul, and of course, at the time, Seth freaking Rollins, who's currently out injured. And again, this is WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. The first letter, World. Ash, it is safe to say that more than ever, WWE truly reaches out to the world. And this is the biggest showcase of their product across the world. I'm not going to say around the world because I feel like we're going to start singing Daft Punk here, non-copyright. That being said, what are your... Don't get any ideas. That being said, Ash, WrestleMania, of all places, why not the UK? Why not Canada again? Why not Mexico at some point, considering Mexico with the AAA partnership? Why not Tokyo? Why not Japan? When at one point, we thought Paul Levesque was trying to use All Japan Pro Wrestling to build NXT Japan, and it fell through the cracks. Didn't happen. Of course, we know NXT and Pro Wrestling Noah do have that partnership. But Saudi Arabia, of all places, for this Americano of the ideas of pro wrestling and entertainment that America, North America, has lived off of now for 42 years. Saudi Arabia? It just seems so damn far-fetched under so many different types of circumstances. But what's your outlook towards this? Because at the end of the day, it is the wrestling business, and business is bigger than ever. But we also talked about before, WWE is not too big to fail. So could this be WWE's greatest payoff or one of the biggest mistakes they've ever made?
When the Saudi Arabia deal came up, I had a feeling that the Saudi Arabia was going to eventually get a WrestleMania. It was just a matter of not if, but a matter of when, and we now have the answer to that question, which is 2027. I personally, I don't really watch the Saudi Arabia shows, not because of political reasons. It's just that most of the card does not interest me.
Thank you. I'm not paid enough to call this shit. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
So yeah, it's years of quite a bit of ways away, and who knows? If the card is built enough and stacked enough, I might watch it because I've had watched the Saudi Arabia show before. I'll be honest with you guys. I watched the King and Queen of the Ring in 2024, I think it was, and that was like the only Saudi Arabia show I watched because I was so invested in the tournament. I was just like, I put so much time and effort into this. I have to see how it ends.
Correct.
And if the card is good and the build is good for this upcoming WrestleMania at Saudi Arabia, I might watch it. That's the only way I'm going to be watching it, is if the build to it's well done and the card interests me. Other than that, I'm not watching it.
I hear you there. Again, I'm already concerned about the Royal Rumble. You're really going to have to draw me in. You think about this year's Royal Rumble being the most star-studded, well set up, well-balanced Royal Rumble since, goddamn, I can't remember the last time the Royal Rumble truly was this great, honestly. And I'm talking about both women's and men's matches. Someone go ahead and fact-check me on that if you choose. But that being said, this right here, next year alone, Saudi Rumble, we'll see. Charles, I did see your hand. What you gotta say real quick?
At least one thing, though. At least we probably know who should probably headline that Saudi Mania. And win the first world title on the main roster, Sami Zayn. That's what needs to be said.
All aboard the Zayn train.
Keep holding out.
That's why he should not win next year. He should win the following year because where May's going to be.
It does make a lot of sense, but again, does WWE and Logic belong in the same sentence? Could switching to Geico save you 15% or more on car insurance?
That's how you get me to watch from Saudi Mania. Have Sami Zayn in the main event. Have Sami Zayn win the title.
But the pop for him alone, I mean, I could definitely understand y'all.
Sam gets a loud reaction every time there's Saudi show. He's on the card. He gets that loud reaction.
But he's very over there, isn't he? Like, I'm surprised.
You gotta remember, it's also part of his culture, as he's also encompassed literally the people and embraced the heritage as well. Let's not forget about that. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, I'm just hoping, like, even as the North American, or like the Western and even some case the Eastern audience, if they travel there, I hope they enjoy themselves and that they're very careful.
The key word there, you took it right out of my mouth. The key word there is careful. For the love of God, everybody, please be careful. This world is a very dangerous, unstable place. But wrestling should bring us together, not destroy one another, nor be held hostage. So again, to anybody that travels there, safe travels to and from if you don't have a suit, security, or a gun.
Exactly. And also, say what you will about the Saudi Arabia government, they have the citizens there are also wrestling fans, and they deserve to have fun and enjoy wrestling without being scrutinized for their company, not their company, the government that they have to unfortunately abide by.
Yeah. Walter, I see your hand real quick. What you gotta say, brother?
The one thing I think it takes away is, dude, Mania, the world comes together. Like, you get people from Britain, Australia come together. You meet new people. It's so diverse when you look at the crowd. I don't think a bunch of people are gonna be there. It's gonna all look the same. So I don't think people are gonna afford to fly out there, or people are just morally not gonna do that. So WrestleMania won't aesthetically look the same in terms of when you look at the crowd. You see people from all over the world. I'm telling you, eventually WWE is going to look like a bunch of business tycoon suit and tie people in the crowd, and it's really pricing out families.
That's a fair shout. All right, what we got here real quick. And Safet saying Liv should win the 2026 Royal Rumble or 2027 Royal Rumble. I mean, she's come close. And I think Saudi wants WrestleMania. That's it, or they want more. I don't know. I mean, What more can you take from WWE besides the biggest fucking show in the company's history? Just saying. Can I imagine what that trailer is going to look like? All right. Well, fair enough. The bottom line, folks, we read on Saudi Arabia. WrestleMania 43 will be in 2027. So if you are professional wrestling fans, sports enthusiasts, etc., if you have your own outlook outside the business versus your own code of morals, don't judge. I'm indifferent. Tread cautiously if you're a fan, and just wish the best for everybody that you enjoy watching in this spectacle of entertainment. And I guess we'll see what happens for everyone else that travels outside. And again, Saudi Arabia, that place is going to be freaking, I don't know what, like, sort of environment for the people that are going into the country, let alone the housing. All right, fair enough. They're gonna have to, wait, does that mean they're going to have the WWE Hall of Fame there too?
Yeah, because if usually how it goes, if like because Las Vegas, we'll use that twice for the example, they will have the Hall of Fame in the same city, but in a different arena building. Which I don't know if there's any other thing that could do in Saudi with that. But as long as they don't, as long as the next year and the year and 2027 doesn't put us to sleep like it almost tortured Walter over here with this year. God, that Triple H Hall of Fame speech was a nightmare.
Oh my God. And me having to say everything he said. Oh my God.
Walter, I'm sorry for you.
I'm so damn glad. I took medication that knocked me the fuck out.
And also, I will say this: the weird thing, if we do get Survivor Series in Saudi, they're probably just going to not do War Games for that. They're probably just going to do the traditional Survivor Series. Because who knows what Saudi would be, if they're going to be okay with the War Games thing. Because I don't know how they. Yeah. I don't know how. Because I say 2 reigns in Saudi. I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't know who would be in the Hall of Fame. Who's gonna want to go out there for it? Like the Hall of Famers might be staying fast on their things and not go.
I mean,
I get that's the question now because we didn't think about WrestleMania being Saudi, but what the world's gonna have with the Hall of Fame after that? Before that, because that's a kind of a big thing. Like, shoot, does that mean the Hall of Fame's gonna be in Saudi? But then who the world's gonna go in? Because who wants to even go there? Who WWE wants to put induct?
You guess as good as mine. I mean, I don't know. The bottom line, I'm just, it's one of those things where, okay, great for business. For a fan, it's a judgment call. And for me right now, I look about as excited as Charlotte Flair and Shawn Michaels. So there you go.
And I will say this, because since Rumble's in Saudi, don't be surprised if we see Titus O'Neil show up, just make a return for the Rumble and try and almost do a world slide again.
Titus World Slide.
Look. We can say what we want about the Saudi events or whatever, but that one at that 2018 Rumble, that moment was just freaking hilarious. that was just.
Yeah.
That was the best thing. That was literally the best thing about that Rumble. It was just hilarious. For no reason.
10
just like
times over.
Yeah, that would made it better. That's the best. That was the one good thing. But first, that was a good thing. That was that.
Graves losing his shit and Michael Cole just freaking egging it on. Looked like this. Like,
what would you? If you saw that?
I have a job to do. Okay, I'm freaking on commentary. My Walter broke me last night. Freaking.
Well, Walter breaks everybody almost every time.
I'm the hardest one to break, but somehow you all achieve it once the blue.
I gotta figure out how to clip it because usually StreamYard emails me and goes, "Your clip's are ready." They didn't do that to last night's stream.
Okay, well that's.
Probably takes forever.
Well, again, it wasn't a long stream, but again, World's End was phenomenal. Anyway, that being said, WrestleMania 43, it's gonna be a spectacle. Hopefully, it's not a spectacle that lives in infamy. Okay, that being said. We'll see what happens in 2027 as we finish 2025, but we got to get for the 2025 first and all 2026 and live to tell the tale about it too. Okay, well, that being said, speaking of Saudi Arabia, WWE, the biggest money deals possible, changing the wrestling landscape, doing what's more profitable, whether or not it's best for business, and me freaking quoting a commercial for car insurance. I'm just going to say this with our next topic. This is the money that you could be spending if you continue following ESPN for your WWE services. And of course, I am talking about the fact that Tyco, $30 or more, can give you a single WPLD on a monthly basis. If you subscribe today to the ESPN.
What the heck?
He said, let's talk about the deal with WWE and ESPN. Of course, we know WWE has finally moved themselves to the sports platform. Why WWE is one of the first things from sports content, if we're being generally honest. Of course, this deal moved WWE's biggest events, its premium live events, they call them that PLDs, like WrestleMania and SummerSlam, exclusively to the ESPN platform. It started, of course, with the freaking WrestleShalooza show that even the ESPN critics said was buyer's remorse. Of course, this really is going to pick things up, though, exclusively on ESPN platforms in the U.S. starting 2026 under a major multi-year deal with some simulcasting on traditional ESPN channels, but weekly shows like SmackDown will stay on Peacock USA. And of course, this will cost around $325 million annually, as the Enhanced app brings major PLDs to the ESPN DTC service alongside existing sports content for a comprehensive fan experience. Basically, what this means, this affects all your PLEs, including not limited to WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, War Games. Of course, we also saw that. We also saw the Crown Jewel from Perth, Australia as well. And again, this is exclusively the ESPN Plus service, provided strictly through your direct-to-consumer streaming service or the bundle, of course, if you have Hulu and Disney Plus. Thank you again to Tilla, because I ain't paying $30 for this shit. So what used to be $9.99 or Peacock with limited advertising for $15, of course, now is double, $30 a month for a single WWE PLE experience. So, is the price right for all of you, or do you feel like you're being ripped off? At the end of the day, does this expose to a bigger audience, or does it limit the audience outlook, considering how many fans of WWE might not care about sports and how many sports fans might not consider WWE a sports program? I just talked about earlier how WWE feels more like reality television more than ever than sports, even though they're called sports entertainment. So what has been y'all's outlook so far towards ESPN's WWE deal, despite the critics already having buyer's remorse as far as those that review WWE content? Remember, WrestleShalooza got a near F, and one of the Raws got a D or a C. I can't remember. I remember someone talking about it, though, because I don't, of course, follow that stuff. But let's go ahead and talk about WESPN. Has it been more beneficial for the fans, or has it been more of a fucking headache? Walter, I'll start with you, as we just talked about UFC and how it's going to save you a ton of money and what you absolutely love and enjoy. Of course, facing Datilla, putting her out there again. Follow our My Power Ranger, of course, when it's wrestling time. That is Datilla, of course. Rangers of Wrestling. There you see the social medias right there. Stay tuned, by the way. She'll be on my next simple session in the very near future. What have been your thoughts on the WWE ESPN showcase as of late? Has the quality been better? Has it still been exceptional? Has it met expectations? Has it lessened because it feels like a football game with 100 breaks? And do you think it's been worth watching once a month? And do you think it's going to continue to be the same or get better over time as in 2026? Where soon enough, folks, NXT will join the ESPN lineup exclusively for their PLE.
Yeah, I think it'll make it better, which sucks that I watch NXT and it's going to be on ESPN. But thank you to Big G. I have access to his because I'm not paying for that shit. I don't think it's worth the increase that they did. Unless they start giving AEW worthy pay-per-views, then it'll be okay. Like, say what you want about AEW and the price of pay-per-views, but they deliver every time. WWE is the definition of hit and miss. Especially when they do stuff like that TNA, NXT crossover, and they screw up one of the best matches they had by having Dark State ruin the fucking thing for an X Division title. But I don't want to go on a rant. If ESPN continued, WrestlePalooza was not the greatest. So that's some of the rest of the pay-per-views were okay. But as long as you give me high quality matches, then maybe it is worth it for some people. But thankfully, for now, I don't have to pay for it. We'll see in the future. I do have Disney Plus and all this other stuff, so with the bundle deals, might save it in the end. And I do the yearly subscription, so I might do just the bundle deals and combine it to see what I can do. But switching over to all the streaming services does make it harder for us and what we have to do with sharing things because they are really cracking down on it.
Yep.
But just give me quality paper PLEs, whatever you want to call them. Just please high quality stuff, and people wouldn't complain so much. But if you make us pay for that and you shit the bed like you did with WrestlePalooza, then it definitely won't worth it, and you're gonna lose a lot more fans. So we'll see what they do.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, again, WWE can lose, the core fan and can reach out to Joe Smo from Kokomo that might continue to follow this from freaking Aruba, Jamaica, etc., etc. That being said, though, it is one of those things where I think WWE can afford to lose fans, and I think they know they're losing fans because they could build off a new fan base for somebody else in some aspect of entertainment. And I think that's why they wanted to go to ESPN to feed into the sports audience. Although you look at the last shows we've had so far in the ESPN era that just started, WrestlePalooza, Crown Jewel, Survivor Series, War Games. Out of those 3 shows, I can only name 2 to 3 matches worthy of calling themselves a competitive sports showcase. Not to mention, now our PLEs feel more like a TV show than ever with all the commercial breaks. It isn't WWE advertising. It is a straight up 3-minute commercial break between every damn match. Pay-per-view shouldn't work like that. And again, I get it. It's a PLE. Heck, football, you got fucking 75 minutes of commercial breaks and actually maybe 50 minutes of actual play if you're lucky during a standard game that doesn't go into an overtime. Hell, all someone has to do is call a timeout, back to commercial, and it's like, the fuck you all watch this shit? But that being said, again, as non-sports fans, but I consider, AEW a sports competitive showcase, hindsight's 2020. And the key thing, Charles, that Walter mentioned, as long as it entertains you, I guess that's all that matters. Sports are supposed to, of course, engage somebody to entertain them from a competitive standpoint. WWE kind of puts sports in the rearview mirror and brings more reality and storytelling. Michael Cole said himself one time, we're not professional wrestling. We're storytelling. He said on the Pat McAfee podcast, for Pete's sake. And more than ever, he's absolutely right. And I do wonder, does that hurt the aspect of the WWE platform on ESPN, where unless you're a fan of football, and I'm talking about FUTBOL or American football, you could probably give jack shit less about WWE on this product. So what do you think, Charles?
Oh boy, oh freaking boy. As you brought up earlier, yeah, WrestlePalooza got the worst grade, and then they did another thing. And this is from ESPN on their freaking site. That's just like, ow. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, way to really put your partner over.
Exactly. And that doesn't help. That's under the fact that ESPN not having a problem with this, it's just crazy. And also just kind of funny. ESPN loses UFC, and then they get to the he's like, damn. They still the ESPN's on TKO on that one. No matter what. Because that made it easy for TKO to get WWE on ESPN because, oh yeah, we have UFC on ESPN. Oh, this is easy. Pretty easy. Easy enough. But as far as this goes, it's ridiculous. The price increase and it just... This is why I said, when I said earlier about the network, missing the network, I kind of wish that there was back on one platform again. Not freaking... Especially with how ESPN is now. It's like, because we can watch Raw Mondays on Netflix. It's like, oh, we could have just put WPLEs on Netflix.
That's what I thought the original plan was going to be, honestly.
Which would be much better. Yeah, but still been the headache of, sharing the thing, but at least we would have everything from Raw. Now look, SmackDown, fine. They'll be on TV, USA Network. That's fine. Let's talk about Raw here. NXT probably be on the CW. That's fine. Right? At least we still would have got PLEs. If we got PLEs and Raw on Netflix, that would have been much easier than this. But nope. We got to sign up with ESPN, and yet ESPN's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well,
but let's see if this works.
Yeah,
So,
about to say, it's only been what a freaking 4 months, and they've like had maybe a couple of good things out of it. And as far as the actual app itself, the app still, in my opinion, not that great. That being
So is
said,
that really that easy?
yeah. By the way, thank you, Datilla. I'll tell you this much: as long as Datilla's able to provide me a login, I'll keep covering it. Otherwise, get somebody else. Okay, well, that being said, as to Charles' point, I do think WWE is really spreading themselves thin when it comes to the outreach of their content, considering how many different avenues people have to go to try and keep up with the product versus just one show. Raw is Netflix, SmackDown, USA, PLEs, ESPN. Of course, you're in Canada. You probably got TSN to deal with that, or Netflix International, and that probably is far easier to deal with and cheaper than freaking ESPN altogether. And I get it. Some people do have the bundle. Whoop-de-doo. You got Disney. You got Hulu. You can watch every liberal-based content and non-normal content on the planet with that bundle and be happy with it. Good freaking for you. I don't give a fuck. That being said, it's one of those things, though, as a non-sports fan, I can give two shits less. So what's your outlook with WWE playing their exclusive premium content on the ESPN app versus everything else? And do you think this could affect you maybe in the long haul? Again, you're in Canada. You're not affected. So far, only America's affected. But you got to imagine they're going to do something to affect your market. Hell, they're affecting freaking markets as we speak when it comes to who gets the premium live events for other promotions versus WWE with this deal with the Scotiabank Arena. Might I add, AEW has used that at times too. Now it feels like they literally cut them off like that's becoming their own Madison Square Garden. But anyway, what's your thoughts on all this?
I feel bad for you guys down in the States because like the amount of money you have to put into and like how much different apps you have to go through just to get WWE programming. Because especially with the whole ESPN deal, I get what WWE's trying to do, but at the same time, they have like too many hands in what's the phrase? Too many hands in the pockets.
Yeah, and the cookie jar. The cookie jar.
Exactly. And it's just they're going to stretch themselves way too thin with this instead of just having all like the WWE network used to be everything all on one streaming platform, and it just made it so much easier. And it's the thing with the whole ESPN. I get it. You want to try to make yourself seems like more sports orientated, but at the same time, not everybody who watches sports watches pro wrestling. It's they're not as intertwined as people like to think they are.
Yep.
So I get why they try to go on ESPN for like a business deal, but at the same time, the price gouging and it's just the ticket sales, it is ridiculous. Like WWE should just have everything all on one streaming platform so that way it's easily accessible for everyone worldwide.
They should have just kept the WWE network, increased the price of that, right? Increase the price of that, we wouldn't have complained, and then charge these companies money to advertise on it. Yo, you want our advertising, you got to pay to be on our network, and that's it. That's what they should have did.
Yeah, and instead, now you got every advertisement on a WWE mat between and during every fucking match that isn't Prime.
The advertisements are so ridiculous. Like, we don't need so much advertisements on the pay-per-view. So I'm like, no, that, you know what, that you could use that reserved for, like the advertisements? You could use that for a video package to get for like the people who do get up to date on who don't watch the weekly shows. Be like, hey, this is why this match is happening instead of the advertisement.
I
and
miss
it's just
those. Remember those rock music packages they used to play before that? Like I remember the Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero to Headstrong and Triple H and Kevin Nash back in I think it was Bad Blood of 03, and they had
Bad Blood of 03.
Headstrong.
It was official.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, and like
see it,
stuff
Charles.
like that. When they did stuff like that, that was freaking awesome.
Right.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Why they gotta do all this random advertising bullshit that has nothing to do with the WWE product? Hell, have those damn advertisements don't even have WWE superstars in them. I don't need to see Minute Maid. Why don't you talk about what Raw is and when it comes on? Why don't you talk about what SmackDown is and when it comes on? Why don't you freaking superstar showcase somebody for the first time fucking ever? Why don't you talk about the freaking YouTube votes that you all got all of a sudden? You got a damn YouTube channel for NXT, WWE Vault, and WCW. Why the fuck you don't talk about your next big event coming up more often than not, or really push forward the other thing. I don't need to see something for every Wingstop, dude wipe, a car insurance, home warranty, random bullshit, cheap ass video game card trading nonsense that Xavier Woods up, down, down doesn't even get views for on my damn professional wrestling product.
Is up, down, down still a thing?
I don't fucking know.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Anyway.
Hey, it's good to be fair. It's fun to be fair. Enjoy Xavier's content. To be fair.
Yeah, I mean, about the only good thing he can do anymore, since New Day still sucks. But anyway, it's just one of those things, though, where I look at WWE moving away what I enjoyed about it to literally pleasure the suits, the corporates, and anything not with a WWE marquee. They're trying to put their brand out there more than Trump's name. It's just absolutely insane right now, and it's really splitting, I think, the fan base. Yes, more avenues of revenue. Okay, that could be a good thing. But like Ash says, you're stretching yourself so thin. Do those actually equate to something in the long run? Or is it just a short-term Cinderella story of success? We said it verbatim. You're never too big to fail. WWE is bigger than ever under TKO. And if they shut the bed on this ESPN deal that Nick Khan, of all people, levied for, you thought the Fox one was a freaking setback. Imagine this being a fuckover. How's that for a business outlook?
Mm-hmm. That's wild. They say, like, oh my God, that's yeesh.
Again,
They've gotten themselves in quite the pickle, haven't they?
Well, again, point of no return. You either keep up, you keep on being complacent, thinking everything's fine, or you get fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's my outlook. Either way, $30 can give you a WPLE on a monthly basis. Tyco, ESPN. I don't know if it's necessarily great for business. You tell me. All right. Well, that being said, good talk, everybody. Again, to everyone their own. Justify what you spend your money on. Charles, I did see your hand. What you got to say real quick before we take a commercial break?
And I also will say, yeah, because I just talked about the advertising. God, it's annoying to not see a table going, oh, God, it's a Slim Jim table.
Don't get me started on that.
How is it? And I'm afraid now this is going to apply to video games next. So I have to see. I'm waiting for it. If that happens, I'm going to see it go, great, well, this is a nightmare.
So what is the chair and the ladder going to be sponsored by?
Do we want to know? I don't think we want to know the answer to that.
Cheetos and Legos.
Okay, well, first of all, Cheetos. I would have I would be against whatever issue with Cheetos. That's number one. Legos. How in the world would that even work?
I don't stack the ladder.
I don't even know what I don't even know.
There you go. But at least I'll say this to the point at hand. Yeah, the advertisement's annoying as hell. Especially when you got you got this freaking feud that's gone crazy, tense, and everything. Oh yeah, we got promote freaking Cinnamon Toast Crunch or something. I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking here.
I want to know what they're going to do with the library, because I like to watch the old Raws, and if that's not converted over to Netflix yet, I can't watch the old Raws. And then what are you going to do with the old SmackDowns?
WWE Vault, because it's so funny, that WWE Vault channel, and you got these other channels that created all of them. It's like, huh, that's very surprising.
There's a reason they create all those channels on YouTube.
Individual matches. They don't show the whole 2-hour SmackDown.
That's true as well.
Well, they're starting to pull up full classic pay-per-views like the old Survivor Series, the freaking other stuff. So there isn't afraid to do that. So if they start doing that for everything, it's like, okay, that's kind of like you're using YouTube now because it's not coincidence.
Yeah, but I'd say basically you'll just have to subscribe to every YouTube channel that's not a podcast for WWE.
At least the YouTube channels you can subscribe for free, at least.
And for now, but how many advertisements do you get in between a product during a YouTube feed if you're not premium?
Fair. But at least we could tolerate it because at least there's a skip option.
For most of them, yes. But I think, Walter, did you do like a YouTube for a WWE show and you got like how many commercial breaks and some of them you couldn't skip and they were 30 seconds long?
Yeah, every few minutes.
Yeah, well, it's convenient like that, but hey, at least it's worth watching.
There'll be a
Because you do free.
subdivision. There'll be a subdivision on YouTube exclusively for WWE content you have to subscribe to.
Hey, and WWE's experience putting full live shows when they happened. They did the Hall of Fame. They did the AAA Worlds Collide, the AAA show. So it's like they're probably gonna still keep doing that.
I don't know why they had to mess with it. They had to find with the network. Why touch something if it ain't broken? Why fix it?
Because they feel like that they could get something out of a new shiny toy, and it's actually going to be of less profit.
Exactly, and also to Safet's point, what he just said here. Yeah, they do. I've stepped in it twice, and
Any parent who has kids knows stepping on those in the middle of the night.
That'll make the most.
And I'm saying, and it was not fun. And then again, I fell quickly backwards onto a pile of them.
Ouch!
Yeah, that was not.
They're gonna sponsor by Legos, and then you're gonna start seeing people have Legos in the bag instead of freaking thumbtacks and knock people into those.
To be fair though, that's happened in the rest of the business. To be fair, so it'll be the first time.
Yeah,
it was the first time it to be, but it's happened in the business before.
The Legos have been the thing.
Thumbtacks has not been always in the bag all the time. There's been broken glass. There's been
gummy
cars. Gummy bears, Legos,
keyboard keys.
Exactly. So literally anything's out of the possibility.
I mean, you think about what Joe Hendry freaking did, of course, when he freaking
name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Damn it. Anyway.
We had to say his name.
Fuck me. Anyway, yeah. Like I said, I don't give a fuck about this app. The quality of the product does not justify the price. You judge whether or not it's wrong or it's right. But why ruin things that have no promise at all just to make everyone else have a harder time? I'm just saying. And to Walter's point, what the fuck are they going to do with the archives? We got a WNXT YouTube channel. We're going to get a WWE Raw YouTube channel. We're going to get a WWE SmackDown YouTube channel. Oh, I know. Let's get a Velocity NXT YouTube channel. Anyway.
There probably is. There's WCW, there's ECW, there's probably like everything. So you know what? Won't be surprising.
Fucking hell. The brand itself being stretched thinner than a freaking Airheads you freaking peeled down worse than a Twizzler. All right. That being said, again, Tycho, ESPN gives you $30 or more on a single monthly basis for a WWE PLE.
I just love when I just hears that.
About to say, also, who's watching? Not me, unless it's free.
It's okay. I'll watch the show so you don't have to.
Ash,
I need more content on my channel anyway, so
it's still funny how Stoney McMahon promoted VPN. It's so funny.
I mean, they just want eyeballs on the product. That's all. They don't care how you do it, as long as you're watching. That's the main key.
Yeah,
it's still crazy how it's Stephanie that's the one that did that. It's just hilarious.
Well, I mean, most stuff on YouTube is brought to you by freaking Surfshark now. Insert the code SRS to get 50% or more of your first month. Don't do that, by the way, folks. We're not monetized. That being not Chris Van Vliet.
Whoa, hang on. I think JJ is, though.
Okay, maybe he is. So
I was going to say, JJ is, though.
PayPal, though, not you two. I'm just saying, all right?
Well, there's your two super chats, though.
About to say, how much you get back on a $2 super chat. It's a whole different conversation.
Well, people do it. Well, do we need this because this is the freaking?
This is not Mad Money. This is not ESPN. Although the fact that TKO Stark is down 0.54 points right now at a 270,
which I guess explains why this is. I was going to ask about this for rolling down the screen here. I was like, wait, what?
You look at the New York Stock Exchange Composite Exchange right now, and it does seem to be on the positive at 0.6. The bottom line, though, again. TKO, ESPN, $30 gives you a WWE monthly PLE. Is it worth your time? Is it worth the price? You be the judge, or you make a sacrifice, non-creed, non-copyright reference, like our Canadian friend Ash. Lord knows I've sacrificed how many months of this madness for WWE versus AEW. The yin and the yang to professional wrestling fandom. But to Ash's point, how many streams of revenue do you need before you got nothing but a leaky faucet versus a stream? Just saying. All right. That being said, great talk, everybody. That was good talk for business. And again, WWE, good luck continually in this business. I don't know what the fuck it's leading. Everyone already criticizing Paul Levesque booking versus freaking Vince McMahon, but the family affordability versus the quality of the product. Wow. People are fickle as long as the day is long. Brian Danielson was right all along. Go figure. That being said, that concludes this edition of Mad Money. When we return to Simple Label Studios News, we will now talk about one last headline for the year before we may conclude or go into free range as we look to be tranquilo. As we talk about one, El Dorade El Idolo, and his non-compete clause and how that goes into effect come Wrestle Kingdom 20 and maybe further all elite aspects. That's so much more when the Super Label Studios returns after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
And now for a taste of things to come.
Promotional consideration brought to you by the following. Subscribe today to Jake Hebert's Side 95. Of course, this man is currently editing 2 video packages, highlight reels as we speak for the Shenanigans for 2025 and 2024. He does really cool and dumb things on the internet, full of tism, but we still appreciate him. He's still a fucking idiot. Subscribe today and follow Jake Hebert's Side 95 on the social media as you see on your screen. And again, follow his uncle's documentary. Scan the QR code. Talking about Gary Hebert, the greatest coach you never heard of, gifts from God, the presence of greatness, as of course he works on part 3 to release before Grand Theft Auto 6 in 2026. And also stay tuned for the culmination of the first annual Super Label Studios Wrestling Awards that will be presented, of course, on the New Year's Eve special, Saturday Shenanigans, End of the Year Extravaganza, of course, hosted by the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. If you want to learn more about the Super Label Studios today, follow us on the X at SR Studios 2024 to keep up with all the content here in and out of the Super Label Studios family. Super Label Studios, your one-stop spot for professional wrestling coverage.
Now for our sponsor.
And welcome back here as we truly remind you and encompass here at the Super Label Studios, we embrace, celebrate, engage, pontificate, analyze, criticize, and react to
So long that the old narrator got tired of waiting that they had to hire a new one.
the wrestling. And welcome back to the Simple Lab Studios newsroom. Chief News Anchor Noah Foster here, along with my illustrious panel, my sports expert Walter Cruz, my Mad Money expert Canadian friend Ash, and expert in entertainment Charles Schultz. We look towards the world of video games as Claire Obscura cleaned up at the Video Game Awards and the Golden Joystick Awards blur the lines between dark fantasy and a non-good bad storytelling of an ending. Charles, your thoughts on this year's Video Game Awards, your biggest highlight, what are you looking forward to playing in 2026, and what's been your biggest disappointment?
Okay, I was not prepared for this. Okay, I was not prepared for this, to be honest at all. Holy shit. Oh, I'm up on the spot. Damn it. And also, damn you with GTA. Well, actually, you know what? At this point, everything would come up for GTA 6. You know what?
Anyway,
ESPN will lower the price of their freaking app before GTA 6 comes out.
Well, okay, hang on. Walter. Let's be real. That's a little bit.
I mean, folks, where's the lie?
Okay, the way Ash just said that, I just stared creepily to the freaking camera. That kind of just scared the shit out of me for a second. For a second, I was like, I'm running. I'm heading out of town.
What's been your highlight video game in 2025 and your biggest disappointment? And what are you looking forward for in 2026?
Okay. Now, all right. Let's see here. Okay. Damn it! Now let's return. Damn it! Damn it!
I'm disappointed with the amount of times you fall in the sewer manhole.
Can we let Charles?
Shut up! You know what? Well, you know what? Actually, I'll accept that because I think my brain was doing that. I was speaking. There you go. Thank you, Walter. Right. But as far as the question goes,
oh my gosh,
doesn't help that I'm stuck on last gen. But hey, I ain't complaining. I love seeing these new games and everything in between. It's fun. And now I can't wait for more Tomb Raider. I'm more happy about that than anything else right now.
Are there 2 Tomb Raiders, I believe, coming out?
Yes, they are. One's a remake of the first, and the one's a brand new entry following the Underworld timeline.
Oh, okay.
And the Legend timeline, so I'm fine with that. No, Resident Evil 9 for me, and just about anything else. I'm hyped and also disappointed. Damn. You know what? We have a possibility of Noah by Elgit for GTA 6.
What the fuck? Oh no!
I had to say it.
Someone, I guess, had to. Congratulations, by the way, to Claire Obscure, of course, of Samfall Interactive and published by Kepler Interactive, winning this year's Video Game of the Year, courtesy of the Video Game Awards, the Golden Joystick Awards, also winning for Best Art Direction, Best Score, Best Role-Playing Game, etc. All right. And now we move away from entertainment back into the world of professional wrestling. Look back at the headlines of 2025 before the newest games 2026. Thank you for that, Charles Schultz.
I was prepared for that.
I like putting everybody on the spot. This is what happens when you deal with me.
Apparently.
Okay, that being said, welcome back, everybody, once again to Slip.stream Reliable Studios newsroom. Again, Noah Foster, Walter Cruz, our Canadian friend Ash, and Charles Schultz as we bring you back up to speed with the biggest stories and headlines, of course, of 2025 this year, to say the least. Again, if you want to take the conversation, super chat. It is truly as simple as that. We have now reached our final headline of the year here as we look towards one Andrade El Idolo. Andrade El Idolo, who of course was revealed to be the new big money man of the United Empire and will team with his hermanos at Wrestle Kingdom 20. Again, folks, stay tuned. Me and Ash will be leading a panel of predicting regarding Wrestle Kingdom 20 in full, January 1st. Time to be determined, as Andrade will be at the Tokyo Dome with the United Empire, Greto Khan, all hail, Kyle Newman, Hinare, and of course, X, yet to be named and determined, taking on unaffiliated War Dogs, Gabe Kidd, David Finlay, Shigeru Takagi, Drew Maloney, Hiromu Takahashi. Of course, we know Andrade El Idolo for a period of time. We wasn't sure when we were going to see this guy once again on our screens. But we saw him, of course, show up in AEW, attack Kenny Omega, and there was no follow-up since that point. Basically, the clause was WWE enforced a 12-month non-compete clause standard for a contract breach, like his AEW appearance, preventing him from wrestling elsewhere. Of course, we've already seen Andrade Idolo show up at House of Glory. The problem was Andrade wasn't being paid during this period and was initially prevented from wrestling, impacting his visa status and bookings. So after negotiations involving his attorney, Roosh, an agreement was reached, waiving the clause around December 12, 2025, which now means as of December 2025 late, Andrade is officially a free agent, free to sign to AEW or any other wrestling promotion. Now, we know that we're wondering when we might see Andrade El Idolo versus Kenny Omega. We also know if La Sombra will take a longer return in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maybe the Fantastica Mania tour, maybe it goes after a championship, maybe he leads the United Empire in a whole new rebuilding on his own foundation. Although this is crazy considering Andrade Idolo, La Sombra, is a former Ingovernable. Shout out to, of course, the entire Los Ingobernables de Japón, by the way, Tetsuya Naito, and of course Bushi, all the best, of course. Adios. That being said, what is everyone's thoughts regarding Andrade El Idolo involved in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the lengths he went to overcome, for the first time I can remember, a WWE non-compete clause wasn't the right way to approach business by either party, and do you see Andrade Idolo being involved in AEW now, particularly in the new year to come? Ash, I will start with you on this. What are your thoughts with La Sombra, Andrade Idolo, back on the scene across all professional wrestling? Fuck the Fed, apparently.
The way WWE went about it was just ridiculous. Just trying to lock someone out of a contract for like a year. Okay, I understand if it was like 30 days, 90 days, because that's normal. That's their standard business.
Right.
But for a whole year, that's a little ridiculous. That is very ridiculous. I'm happy at least an agreed settlement was settled, so that way Andrade can find work, which is good because he is a pro wrestler. He wants to. That's how he gets his money, for working through companies, whether it's just be a one contract or multiple promotions through freelancing. I'm not sure if he's going to go to AEW. Right now, I just see him more focusing on his work in New Japan and maybe CMML, because that's where he got his start. That's where he's mostly known from.
Correct.
And he'll probably just focus on those two promotions for now. And for me, the way I say it, sure, he attacked Kenny Omega and they haven't followed up on it. That would be a perfect match for Forbidden Door if they do one next year. Because right now, Kenny Omega's in a different storyline right now. So they could probably pick up on that, like pick up where they left off, like around Forbidden Door, especially if Andrade is just going to stay in New Japan and CMML for the foreseeable future.
All right. Fair enough. Well, again, as you talked about, La Sombra, Andrade Idolo, is right now already a two-champion champion. He's the WWC Universal Heavyweight Champion, and he's the Crash Heavyweight Champion. Of course, most notoriously known, as we talk about La Sombra, as Tekka Champion, CMLL World Trios Champion, CMLL World Tag Team Champion, NWA World Historic Welterweight Champion, IWGP Intercontinental Champion. God, I missed that belt. And, of course, two-time NWA World Historic Middleweight and Welterweight Champion before he went to the E and won the NXT Championship, United States Championship, and then nothing. Then, of course, had a short-term, career in AEW, and, of course, went back to WWE for one particular reason. Woo. And then, of course, nothing. And now he's back on the independent scene. It is funny, though, that you talk about Kenny Omega being involved in a different storyline. Is it a different storyline? Because, again, he said he needs to handle something he should have handled a long time ago. Let's not forget, Andrade El Idolo attacked Kenny Omega at AEW Homecoming, and that was all the way back in October. So it's actually been quite a bit of time. But Forbidden Door is also not a fair show, considering we don't know how much the cleaner has left, especially the Young Bucks right now out on injury, at least for the rest of the year. Take that for what you will. And by the way, Safet, it's one of those things where if you miss the bull, you get the horns. And it wasn't like Roosh was the attorney, but Roosh and other attorneys, along with Andrade's legal party, got this fixed. Once again, this in a way might prove that WWE is still ultimately petty. But again, different conversation. All right. Charles, your thoughts on Andrade Idolo, La Sombra, back on the wrestling scene, attacking anyone and anybody he can all across different promotions. What do you think is next for Andrade Idolo following Wrestle Kingdom 20? Does it go to the House of Glory Championship? Do we see him show up in AEW prior to Forbidden Door? Do we see him at Revolution possibly involved in a matchup? Don Callis family or not, with the Don Callis family totally up in the air. What's your thoughts on Andrade Idolo back on the independent side of things?
I have a mic muted. Wow.
I'm about to say I would give you a 3-second Jeopardy pause, but you stopped yourself. Continue.
Yeah, I know. My mic was muted. That's on me.
All right.
Number one is the whole Andrade does not compete clause thing. It was just, if, this would have not been because it's like I said, it's both sides, right? Like you brought up before. Andrade's not exactly, innocent either. Let's just be fair here. It's a both sides thing. So if Andrade didn't show up quickly in AEW, we probably would have not had this problem. So that's number one. But it's still bullcrap the whole 1 year thing. That's kind of a little bit extreme. But it seems like that's going to be the norm for cases like Andrade or something. Probably would still be the normal 9 days and 30 days at least. But if we had extreme cases like what happened with Andrade, they'll probably get the 1 year. It'll be permanent like this for everyone. But as far as this goes, good to see. The moment I saw freaking Andrade showed up at House of Glory, I was like, that's surprising.
Right.
Now, I thought for a second, okay, maybe it's because it was an independent thing. I'm like, okay, it's nothing major, not like AEW or something like that on TV. And then all of a sudden, oh yeah, he's now able to do whatever he wants now again. Thanks to the lawyer it's the same lawyer that got people out of the WWE non-compete clause before. So whoever this lawyer is damn good at getting people out of these non-compete clause. Very damn well.
Someone looking for an attorney, apparently.
So, no, I'm just saying that's a person to go to if you want to get out of WWE non-compete clause. It seems
You're
like
not wrong.
And now, ever since then, and I'm going to try to be in for New Japan. That is awesome, but I do expect to try back in AEW. He's going to show back up, join up the Don Callis family, because that's what the last thing we saw him, and he's going to go against Kenny, and probably at Revolution. That's all I got to say on the matter.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you for that. Well, Walter, of course, we know Andrade Idolo from our NXT, my NXT. Of course, when he was NXT champion, beating Drew McIntyre, only to lose it, of course, to Aleister Black. And then, of course, after that, he went to the main roster, butt kiss. Of course, we saw in AEW feuds with Andrade Idolo and Buddy Matthews was freaking awesome over that mask, that culture, the family, la familia. And of course, we also saw him involved in the Continental Classic. But what are your thoughts now with Andrade back on the independent scene, looking to restart, particularly it feels like in New Japan Pro Wrestling? And does this literally lead to a new beginning to the United Empire where he might lead them to championship glory once again? Right now, Andrade is known as the money man. Put that in mind. He's the new Gideon Gray. So what do you think is next for Andrade Idolo? And what do you think about all this?
I think on WWE side, it is petty, but if they legally able to do it, then it's enforcing. In terms of Andrade's side, I think it's smart because what he did was make himself a commodity and put his name on the lips of everybody in the industry. He's not the biggest biggest popular wrestler. So by doing that, what he did was made himself wanted by everybody. Oh, we got to sign him because he's the talk of the town now. So business-wise, he lined his own pockets up by doing that. Whatever income he missed, he did a smart business move. So you can't deny that because now he's a hot commodity.
Mm-hmm.
He put his name back out there. I think he'll go back to AEW, and what I think they're gonna do is have him replace oh my god, I almost said take a shit. I'm sorry, Konosuke. Konosuke.
Noah's already to look. Noah's like he's already to kill you.
I couldn't think. What they're gonna do is they're gonna, after what happened with the G1 Classic.
G1 Classic.
I'm all over. What happened with the Continental Classic? I'm all over.
Wow.
The place. I'm sorry, Noah.
It's all right. I got you, dude. Your brain's going on E.
They're gonna kick Konosuke out of it, and that's how they're gonna reintroduce Andre. They're gonna kick him out. Don Callis always has a plan B, so Andrade is gonna come back. Because remember when he came back, they teased him as part of the Don Callis, and that's how you do it. You use him to replace him, and they're gonna jump him in the ring, and they're gonna kick him out, and they're gonna show that Andrade is the newest member taking his place, because they screwed him yesterday. Literally, Okada used a screwdriver. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to let it build up, and then that's how you kick him out, because he's going to want answers this Wednesday. Then they're going to procrastinate a little, and then they're going to make it look like everything's all fine and dandy. Then they're going to beat the hell out of Konosuke and kick him out, and it's going to be revealed that Andrade is his replacement.
All right, well, fair enough. Well, before we open this to the further discussion, Ash, I did see your message in the chat. I just want to, again, thank you so much for being part of the SRS newsroom. You are an invaluable member of this family and this team, and we all love you. Again, we hope to see you on the New Year's Eve special, and I look forward to predicting this with you. I cannot wait to cover this event, also positive with you and Walter. So before we conclude, just go ahead and give your closing thought towards Wrestle Kingdom 20, key matches on the card, and any closing remarks you have before you bid us a fine adieu. So I imagine January 1st, and you and I will talk in close quarters about the time, but go ahead and wrap things up on your side here.
I have a lot to say about this Wrestle Kingdom 20 card and how it's shaped. And also not only that, but for New Year's Dash as well, because that's going to be fun to talk about as well.
Which we will talk about, because that definitely has some huge implications on New Japan 2026. Continue.
Yeah. I look forward to previewing the show with you on January 1st. What time? I don't know.
We'll figure it out. We got the whole day.
Exactly.
We'll figure it out.
Also, be on the lookout for my Wrestle Kingdom review and my New Year's Dash review. So there's a lot of content ready for you for Batty for Wrestling in January. So be on the lookout for that.
I'm looking forward to. All right, keep going. You're getting me excited. About time to get your content out there. Keep going.
I got a lot to do, and plus there's a lot of matches I have to do to look into, because your girl has fallen behind on a lot of stuff that she has to play catch up for.
Ash, what did I tell you?
I am a busy girl, okay?
I understand.
It is hey, let me tell you, Christmas season in retail is ridiculous.
Don't gotta tell me. I worked at Walmart for one full calendar year as I start flashing some of the matches here that you see, by the way, folks. Keep going, Ash. Stay tuned, folks.
Yeah. So 2025 in the year pro wrestling had its ups and downs, and I'm hoping 2026 will be just as fun and exciting as 2025 was, with the debuts, shocks, returns, and all that good stuff that makes pro wrestling.
Amen to that, sister. Well, cheers to you. Before you leave us, go ahead and tell what the people can find you and why they shouldn't be a dickhead.
You can find me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at ShadowBadAsh, lurking in the spaces, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Batty for Wrestling. Don't be a dickhead.
All right. Well, simple enough. Well, as the world of retail waits for you to give someone a good check on it, to give you a good review, we bid you a fine adieu. And I look forward to simply predicting Wrestle Kingdom 20 and possibly coming with you. And if you want a partner for the review, you know I'm always down to help you and engage with you. But again, folks, Ash, the genesis of the Batty for Wrestling YouTube channel, it officially is underway with a new beginning come 2026. Stay tuned and stay batty. We'll see you, Ash. Take care, pal.
Have a good night, guys.
You too. And then there were three. Well, that being said, tranquilo, mi hermana and hermanos, as Andrade El Iglo looks to reboot the United Empire, maybe into his own new Ingobernables faction Only time will tell. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will conclude this edition of the Sip Reliable Studios newsroom. In conclusion, there have been a lot of stories that have brought a lot of wealth, a lot of depth, a lot of regret, and a lot of positive reinforcement. And we hope that you continue to stay tuned to the Similar Newsroom, keeping you engaged and reminding you of what is to come and what has to be reviewed for the calendar year. And now we go to Walter Cruz with the weather report. Walter, how's the weather out there in California? You're muted. Botch.
Wow. Well, this. Well, this is
He's of course handling a call. I just put him on the spot just because. And again, Charles, talking about the weather. You probably got ice or rain going on out there. So again, we'll see what happens.
Not ice, not yet. But I do have to worry about basement flooded. But at least that's got to take care of quickly today. So I'm not a fun time.
Fair enough. Well, why Walter Cruz be more reliable than Peggy from Discover? Let's go.
It's not that bad today, but it's been raining every day of the week to the point where it's been flooded. Like. The wind was so high. Part of my garage broke. One of my sheds broke. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a lot of calls to insurances.
I'm gonna say, so basically, all do it in one call, or do you have to do it like 3 times over? God damn.
It should be all one call, but like the way
you can only hope that's all.
It's crazy.
I was gonna say, if it's not one call,
It broke my fence. It broke my fence, so hopefully my dog can't get out. But yeah, it's been bad. It's been hailing. It's been doing everything.
You know what? That's a perfect thing right there. Yeah, that definitely grinds Walter's gears.
Amongst other stuff, like people who just can't find a reason to be happy when there's so much good in
Noah,
professional
what do you
wrestling.
think of that, though? I don't know why that came to mind, but if they kick Konosuke out and they use Andrade as his replacement, that would make sense now, since the first tease was part of the Don Callis family.
Like I said, he was the first member to join the Don Callis family. Here's the first member, I believe that makes sense, to leave it, either willingly or forcefully, because you know there's got to be an answer to Okada's actions when it comes to the tool of the invisible hand, the screwdriver. And what does Okada think right now? Y'all want to hear more about our thoughts on World's End? As we look toward the weather here, you see 68 degrees in the California area. Chance of rain on Wednesday around midnight. On Monday, the high 69, low 51. Again, though, when we come back, the Sipri Reliable Studios newsroom will be closed, and we will be back in the Shenanigans Lounge as we bring you our concluding wrestling recap, because after this commercial break, when we return, it is time to simply sum up and recap AEW World's End. After this commercial break, stay tuned for our concluding open mic session. Talk about this incredible closing pay-per-view of the year. Beforehand, though, I have been Noah Foster. This has been the Super Reliable News since 3 p.m. And thank you all for tuning in. We will see you at this commercial break for the conclusion of the Sunday Shenanigans. Thank you so
And now for a taste of things to come.
Big forearm smashes, purchase Mercedes Monet. Of course, Alex Windsor coming up a great win against Nina Samuels, longtime former tag partner and, of course, rival. Last night on Ring of Honor, big headbutt. Again, using her head, quite literally. Bomber! Avalanche Blue Thunder Bomb, but neither woman right now able to capitalize. Alex Windsor trying to go for something else here. Crawls away from the ropes, pulls the cover, hook on the far leg. A kick out it too. Damn it.
What a surprise. A Blue Thunder Bomb did not get the victory.
Shut the fuck up, JJ. And again, if you want to hear more of my ranting against JJ, who pisses me off on a daily basis about my favorite moves in wrestling, you can find out more of that subscribing to Simply Reliable Shorts today on YouTube. Simply Reliable Shorts, your less than 1 minute dose of comedic commentary and professional wrestling engagement. And welcome back once again, folks, to the weekly moderate conversation of Wrestling Madness on this fine Sunday afternoon into the evening. That is the Sunday Shenanigans. And as always, here in the Super Reliable Studios, we truly like to encompass, embrace, celebrate, engage, criticize, pontificate, and analyze towards to all the wrestling. And thank you all again for tuning in to the first ever edition of the Super Reliable Studios News. Whether or not you get that again next year or some point again, stay tuned. Again, I am your moderator for this edition, Noah Foster, Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz, and Charles Schultz. We have now reached the point where it's time to say so long, farewell, be to say goodbye, but not before we talk about how much we had a good fucking time with professional wrestling tonight. Delight, of course, that always delivers no matter how many matches we get. As let's go ahead and give some closing remarks towards AEW World's End. Of course, AEW World's End was last night exclusively on HBO Max. It was the culmination, of course, of the Continental Classic. This year's winner being Jon Moxley, outlasting the Pro Star Kyle Fletcher, who was looking for a screwdriver to screw a plan in Jon Moxley's driven determination to win this thing. While Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita had a first ever outing, and Okada might have realized the alpha might be stronger than him and went to desperate measures to overcome him. We also saw Chris Stanley deliver one hell of an avalanche Michinoku driver out of an attempted superplex position, and she was able to outlast Jamie Hayter and her chance at Hayter Raid, hitting her own Hayter Raid, showing the confidence of the chairman she won with Saturday Night Fever, as we also have Maxwell Jacob Freeman play the perfect match, perfect plan, and now as a two-time AEW Men's World Champion. And we saw what mixed nuts is in AEW when Timeless Tony Storm and Reyes of Fear worked with the Death Friars and Conglomeration in 8-person mixed tag team action. And so much more happened last night at AEW World's End, as we also learned during the 0 hour after their match with High-End and Maya World against the Sister Sin. Julia Hart and Sky Blue did get the win, but ladies and gentlemen, Maya World and High-End are now officially all elite. Congratulations to those two incredibly young, promising female competitors. We also saw the Bears of Rap make history in their first defense of the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships against Mercedes and Athena, as Harley and Willow got the better of the CEO and the forever Ring of Honor champion, with Will Nightingale pinning Mercedes Moné, and Mercedes Moné having a meltdown. And I mean meltdown. Damn. And Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd are fucking insane, as Darby Allin combo to counter roll-up, bloodied beyond belief. So, let's go around the horn and get some closing remarks and thoughts towards AEW World's End, the Continental Classic conclusion, and anything else you want to add before we cover AEW one last time this year, Wednesday night, with New Year's Smash. Charles, I will start with you. What did you think of the final AEW Premier 2025 and everything that happened?
One, I like how I jokingly said back on Slip.stream predicting data might say, heck, again, we might say we wanted Okada or Takeshita to win the C2. I do we could just pull a nah, Moxley wins instead. And then look what happened.
Yep.
I was right. It's like, well, wow, we basically just look like and also afterwards, the whole I'm now questioning what on earth this whole Mox thing now. It's like, what, Mox now babyface again? It's like, so does that mean the Death Riders are now faces all of a sudden? It's just, which is very weird because of everything for a whole year. this AW against AW this, and all of a sudden, World's End happened, and all of a sudden now Burrow AEW. All of a sudden, it's like, what the world? And now, unless it's a swerve, and then basically Mox gets kicked out, which I'll be. That's probably supposed to happen. Then, as far as the world title match goes, everybody here and everybody knew MJF was walking out with that title. Otherwise, Walter, you said it best. MJF cashes in to make this a fair four-way, and then he doesn't win the title. He look like an idiot. Basically now, and also MJF pinning Joe was the only thing that made sense because of what happened back in 2023. Outside of that, I enjoyed everything else on the show. Also, yeah, Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd are madmen. Just as normal dead ends, and why? That's pretty what it is. No one's surprised.
To no one's surprise. So just call it what it is. To no one's damn surprise. All right.
Exactly. And
All
that's
right,
pretty much all I gotta say.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that, Charles. Well, Walter, you and I were on the call, of course, last night for World's End. It was a hell of an up and down, a wild, dynamic roller coaster ride where AEW says where wrestlers work, we're the best wrestle. That was pontificated throughout the entire night, up and down this card, to say the least, under the most extreme, under the most technical, under the most driven circumstances, where John Moxley preached the gospel, what it means to be AEW, what it means to be a professional wrestler, how much fucking it means for him to have people and himself to love this professional wrestling business. What's your closing thoughts and outlook and summary remarks regarding AEW World's End?
I was a little disappointed in Takesha and Okada the way it ended, but I do get it. That way he doesn't lose clean. And you'd rather have Moxley beat Okada in the finals than to let Konosuke get to the finals and lose to John Moxley. That would have been the end of everybody's world, and it would have been an explosion, and everybody would have been pissed. So I think that's why they did it. I'm assuming so. I did like Mercedes Crash Out, where she actually cussed at his pay-per-view. She cussed, and then it leads to Willow getting a TBS title shot. So I kind of like it. I like what they did here. Gabe Kidd and Darby are going to have to run it back because that was just a roll-up win. So it's going to get worse. I'm telling you, they're going to end up in an ambulance match, a body bag match, or some kind of casket. It's just going to end up ridiculous. Ambulance.
Oh, man.
So something's going to happen there. Two women. Of course, we knew they were going to bring it. Statlander and Hayter. Notice how she did not let Hayter hit her with that move at all. It would have been nice for her to kick out of it, but she didn't let her hit it at all. She hit her own version of it. And Hayter hit her own version of Saturday Night Fever. So that was a good back and forth match. Online is negative reception. I don't know. They say Statlander is gonna hurt somebody or stuff. I was reading. It's like, you people don't know professional wrestlers. Shut the fuck up.
Accurate.
Just overall, I didn't expect Moxley to win. I don't know where they're going with this or why. But I guess if you think about his mission statement and everything, he kind of did need the win. I know it's not popular, but to solidify everything, but I thought he was going to go away for a while and have a vacation, but I guess not. And I guess if you really think about his story, all he wanted was AEW to be the best it can be and everybody to step the hell up. He went about it in a bad way, but that's really all he really wanted if you break it down. So, I mean, can you really blame the guy? So, all he wanted was to everybody to step up. So, I don't know. Marina Shafir won't work as a face to me. So I don't know if they're going to make everybody a face, kick John Moxley out. I don't know what the hell they're going to do. But you can say one thing. You can say what you want about AEW. You can't say it's predictable because holy shit. Look how many people got that wrong the night. Like, I did horrible on this predictions.
You did.
Yeah, Bandito. Awesome dude. And like I said, I knew it deep down. I knew MJF was gonna win because, like I said, they would have made him look so stupid to do that and sign that contract and then give up the and then not win it. It was a hell of a match. Samoa Joe, sorry, you can't bitch, you can't complain. He pinned the actual champion to win the championship. There's no controversy, there's no nothing because there was no rules. It's a fatal 4-way. We knew he was going to take advantage of somebody else's finisher, but hey, he still did the heat seeker before the 3, so it was MJF's move that finished it. Just the pay-per-view, AEW knows how to do pay-per-view, and WWE can take a lesson. Like, I like the pay-per-view overall. I was excited. You gave me Takeshi Okada. What more can I ask for? Like, I almost passed out on the chair yesterday. Like, there was a point in the match where I couldn't even sit down anymore. Like, I had to stand up. No, it was just.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe that I was actually getting it, and there's no way that could be the first time that that would be the first and only time that they do that. It's got to be. I want to see what happens in Japan because I feel like it's going to keep leading to it. But it might not because Japan they actually follow respect and rules and they don't have interference in their matches and things. So we'll see how they do it. Maybe a backstage segment or something. But Takeshi's going to look for answers. And Okada better get the hiding when it Wednesday. So I don't know what's going to happen. Literally everybody's screwed. I do feel bad a little bit for Fletcher, man. I thought they were doing something, but like I said, I really still think 2026 is his year. He's going to be champion at least one time in 2026, and then that might lead to Ospreay's return. So, awesome job, AEW. Way to leave pay-per-view, and I can't wait to what the future holds, man. Freaking AEW. Who knows? You give the people what they want. Who knew that formula would work, huh?
Well, I mean, all these pay-per-views have been my professional wrestling, damn it, moments as I make my own collages for other companies. And AEW, of course, was the one that pleased me the most. Go figure. So again, in a phenomenal year for AEW's 9 shows, and I can't wait to cover the next 9 shows for AEW, starting with Revolution in March. Charles, I did see your hand. What do you guys say real quick?
Well, speaking of the whole, I was surprised about Moxley, but now I'm just sitting there quenching going, why do we create the national title again? The Ricochet holding, if we're just going to go back to having the national title again?
I mean, Okada has the international championship. To your point, I think hindsight's 2020. The international title is supposed to be defended. I imagine across the world against everybody in the world. The national championship is literally defended on all turfs of AEW, New Japan, CMLL's partnerships, and ROH. So again, I think hindsight's 2020, and I do think Tony Khan realizes he kind of didn't need to do that with the international and the Continental. It was just, heat of the moment, I think. And again, with Okada no longer being the Continental champion, first time in his illustrious career, of course, that he lost it now since being part of AEW. The unified title, I imagine, is no longer existing. But again, we'll see the fight with the Don Callis I'm sure, this Wednesday, if not later, because again, these two men have to prepare to go to the Tokyo Dome for 2 of the biggest matches of their career. Okada, part of Tanahashi's retirement match. Konosuke defending the World Championship in the Tokyo Dome 1 year later after entering it as the international champion of AEW and winning the Never Weight Championship. So only time will tell. Also, I cannot express enough hilarious things about this 8-person clusterfuck where I saw Orange and Shafir have a battle of the pockets. Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy can tango. Roderick Strong beat up his wife. Claudio Castagnoli will beat a man or a woman. And Mark Briscoe is Mark Briscoe. It is what it is with that guy. And this was just so wild from the get-go. And Shafir and Claudio guiding traffic, steering this 4-person machine against the conglomeration and individual capacities, 1 person at a time on a forever train of pain. This was so much fun and wild synergy. I couldn't believe what I was watching. All I know is I need Shafir versus Roderick Strong, or I need Shafir versus Timeless Tony Storm. To Walter's point about this one-on-one dream match, chapter 1 is now written. Kazuchika Okada, desperate for a win, couldn't hit him with the Rainmaker to make him fall. And that's why the screwdriver was in play. Again, did Don Kyle tell only Okada about that? Or did he tell Kyle and Okada about that? And who did he tell first, considering Kyle was looking for that screwdriver against a very prone Jon Moxley, and that wavered his confidence when Jon Moxley kicked out of the Brainbuster as Moxley incapacitated him with a rear naked bulldog choke in this first time ever one-on-one encounter. To Walter's point and Charles' point, Jon Moxley showed he was more obsessed. He was more desired. He was more driven. He more wanted this than Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada. Where Okada, I think, took him likely as a vulnerable prey, the biggest tournament wrestler in modern-day professional wrestling history. He took his eyes off the ball, and John Moxley made him pay for it. As John Moxley, you go look at his speech, by the way, on YouTube, gave a 3-minute speech about, fuck that. It's not about me. It's not about this championship. It's about the men and women that bust their ass every day for professional wrestling, proving we are the elite of the elite. This is what all elite wrestling is all about. This is where the best wrestle. This is where everyone comes and to work 100% every day of the week to bust their asses for professional wrestling fans like you that love and support professional wrestling and want to see it flourish too. But the work continues. And now we'll see what John Moxley does as the Continental Champion. Where again, like you said, Walter, 1 year ago, most hated to the most respected and beloved. It's an aspect of wrestling that John Moxley has made where it's not about who is the future, but what the future can be for the industry. And John Moxley is Mr. AEW, leading it. You want to beat John Moxley? Work harder than him. It's as simple as that. And no one right now can prove that. And again, Safed talking about the unpredictability and the Continental Classic was so much fun. Absolutely 100%. It was such a nail-biting tournament down to the finish. No one knew who truly was going to win, but everybody was on the edge of the seat to find out. By the way, shout out to Tyler of No DQ. That got correct the entire way and got a perfect score. Walter, you got 4, by the way, that night. You did as bad as freaking Jerry Slaughter. But still, it sounds like everyone had a hell of a good time. And again, Chris Statlander, Jamie Hayter, 2 women. They've shared injuries. 2 women, been to the top, lost everything. Chris Statlander, a new renowned level of confidence and focus, with Jamie Hayter reminding us who she is, hitting hard. And she did hit the hater a little bit, but that bump on the elbow, Chris Statlander, she got back up. Couldn't even go for the pinfall. Chris Statlander showing more moxie and confidence than ever and reckless abandonment, knowing how much of a badass bitch Jamie Hayter is. This match was beautiful. Now Chris Statlander is ready for whoever is next. Look at all 3 of these wins. Thomas Tony Storm, freaking Mercedes Moné, and Jamie Hayter. Hell, she beat me into a cow, let's forget. She's just ready for the next one. Not looking at them by ranks, but seeing each one showing what she demonstrates, being better than what she was. And again, we called it. Perfect setup, perfect plan, perfect match. Match with Jacob Freeman, his world ended 2 years ago. He regained the entire world literally last night against that very foe. In a tale of 3 or 4 different matches at the time, match with Jacob Freeman like a Freeman the Chicago Night found the moment of Heyman's work and pinned Samoa Joe with the Heat Seeker. While, of course, the Babes of Rap continue to rule AEW, of course, beating Mercedes Moné and Athena, as you talked about, Walter. Willow Nightingale pinning Mercedes Moné. And now the biggest prize in her portfolio could go back to the very person that she took it from. An incredible night for the conglomeration, a one-of-a-kind night once again for professional wrestling, where AEW proves this is the home of professional wrestling, damn it, as MJF makes history alongside these men. If Maxwell Chicken Freeman is still not buried and you don't know it, get the fuck out this brand. That was AEW World's End at the forefront. And that was a one-of-a-kind professional wrestling pay-per-view once again to finish out 2025. Absolutely fucking loved it. Charles, I see your hand. What you got to say real quick?
I will say that because now I brought the point about Mox being now, I guess, back to Babyface again. How is this going to be weird with Darby Allin still feeling the Death Riders if they're going to be Babyfaces?
Well, again, I don't think the baby. Here's the thing I'm going to just say about Babyface versus heel. No one gives a fuck anymore. It's respect or it's no respect. You respect a work ethic demonstrated unlike anything you've seen over a period of time. John Moxley demonstrated that in the Continental Classic alone on one leg and giving it back to the fans, saying they are the ones that made this possible, that deserved this. And Safed saying Moxley and Kyle Fletcher was his match of the night. And also Safed's point, that scary spot, that was more scary than the cutthroat superplex by John Moxley to Kyle Fletcher, dropping him on his damn head. That's saying something. At least Jamie Hayter has a ton of hair to compress herself with the impact. And I think Chris Statlander realized that, because all Chris Statlander did was a spinning Michinoku driver out of the corner on the second row. Definitely a tougher impact, but Jamie Hayter's one tough bitch. But again, Charles, John Moxley is not a babyface. He's not heel. He's the vigilante, the boogeyman. He is the Death Rider, the yin, the yang, the light and dark of all elite wrestling. And the fans justify that now with what John Moxley did during the Continental Classic, winning by his own means solely. And you cannot dispute that. That's what that's about.
I would just only assuming post all world then. Because it's going to be weird Darvish going after a guy that's pretty much cheering, the AEW thing. In that post-match promo. It's going to feel completely weird. Because also Mox tried to get rid of Darby on more than one occasion.
Yeah, but remember what Nate Burkett said. The only way Darby would have been gotten rid of is if John Moxley legitimately killed him, and he didn't. That's why he quit. Besides the fact he was being choked by a flagon in water, it was a battle of will. And the Continental Classic tested will, body, and spirit. And somehow John Moxley prevailed. But to your point, we know Maria Shafir is not done with Thomas Story Storm. The Death Riders are going to continue to push the work forward, to push AEW to be better. And you know that Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin, to Safet's point, they might be on the verge of a death match. But what we do know is this. At AEW New Year's Smash on New Year's Eve, AEW Dynamite this Wednesday night we'll be covering. We got 2 championship matches, and that's going to foretell a little bit of 2026. And MJF speaks. So we'll find out what's next soon enough in All Elite Wrestling. Well,
exactly.
I think with that being said, before we conclude, talking about Sleeping Disney, by the way, thank you to Charles, Walter, and all of you that have, of course, been part of all the predictions leagues this year as this collage summarizes 2025 in every fan that was simply predicted outside Wrestle Kingdom 19 in my exhibition. So thank you all for making this year so memorable, fun, and let's just thank the good in professional wrestling, giving us one hell of a ride the entire time. As the business keeps going and the passion, the predicting will keep coming. I assure you. But that being said, I think that's all that's left to say. With no questions, with no super chats, with no PayPals, I think we'll finally wrap up this special session of the Sunday Shenanigans. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We hope you had a hell of a time. You learned a lot. You engaged quite a bit. And you also look forward to what's next in and out of all of us here at SRS. Let's get the fuck off here and enjoy our Sunday evening with gaming and sleeping, whatever else we choose, maybe even more wrestling. Charles, again, a pleasure. Thank you so much for being a part of the Sunday Shenanigans. Go ahead and tell where the people can find you.
Tell Crandall on Twitter.
Simple as that. You got to figure out us. You got to go to ChatGPT and get a graphic for us. I'm just saying. That being said, Mr. Reliable Walter is probably playing Mario as we expect. Hopefully he didn't, get caught by a Goomba. There he is. Walter, go ahead and tell where the people can find you as we conclude this incredible edition of the Shenanigans.
You can find me on the YouTube channel at Rage of Wrestling, Walter.Cruz.940 on Instagram, and X at Walter Alex Cruz. So yeah, just subscribe. Get it, got it, bueno.
Subscribe. Do it. Do it now. You heard him. Just do it. All right. Well, thank you for that, Walter. And again, thank you to all of you that are tuning in, whether just now for the whole thing. It's been a hell of a fun ride as we look back at 2025 and, of course, look back at AEW's incredible pay-per-view last night. Again, you want to further engage with me, barely no voice or not, you can find me on the X and on YouTube, primarily at Foster916 for all things wrestling. Shout out to AEW family on the X. The AEW Impromptu year-end special will be recorded some point tomorrow night, so stay tuned for that Tuesday morning as me and the AEW crew look back on 2025. For we love professional wrestling, and we are truly all elite foot for life. By the way, again, congratulations to Hyen and Maya World, who became all elite. Couldn't be happier for those two women. Can't wait to see what's next in both their adventures. Again, you saw her earlier. Don't be a dickhead. Subscribe to Barry for Wrestling. Become part of Barry's Army today. Follow my Peak Power Ranger Datilla at Rangers of Wrestling. Follow the original Big Baller G, not an Aussie wannabe, as you see on the social medias there. He's usually the moderator, but he wasn't here. Follow the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams, Cassidy Studios on the YouTube and on the X. X without the S, or ROWJJ Williams, of course, on the X. Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams, of course, on Instagram. We talked about James earlier. Again, Jay Hebert, Side 95. Follow him on the social medias if you choose at your own peril. He does really cool and dumb things on the internet. They weren't involved so far today in the shenanigans, but they are always VIPs when it comes to this family and inducing the shenanigans at the expense of identity. Follow Arlene and Manuel Dominguez today on the X and on Instagram, as you see. Subscribe to Interactive Games and Movies on YouTube. Emmanuel Dominguez's YouTube venture. At some point, Super Studios and Super Gaming will collaborate with him. Please stay tuned for more on that. And of course, support all of our affiliates and partners, the Jeff Meacham Network, the Wrestling Collective, and of course, Rockin' and Ropes right here on the X, as he always likes to mess things up and cause chaos. Shout out to DJ. And thank you again to all of you that tuned in. As we are the Super Studios, your one-stop spot for professional wrestling coverage. And that's all I gotta say in short as I bid you farewell and conclude. And of course, remind you, there are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. Just fans with opinions with this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families and just your life, and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. As Ash Glenn's one more thought here, how Monsty's face to him has hinted all throughout the Continental Classic as he's been cutting his promos lately. Can't wait to see what's next for him and if there is a new leader for the Death Riders or who Monster gets to team with him to battle the Don Callis family in what's sure to be a faction warfare rivalry come the new year, since Don Callis' 3-year revenge deal went belly up. And I think Okada is not going to back down from what happened here. But again, we're done here for now, so thank you all for tuning in. Please don't subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell if it goes live on demand on any of the channels here at Super Studios family here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button to know when the next video goes live or on demand. I assure you, the shenanigans, the content, the creativity, the predictions, the coverage, it's not going anywhere anytime soon, especially for everything to come in 2026 and beyond. But again, I thank all of you as we conclude for this fine Sunday evening. Hope it's been nothing more but an absolute delight. For Charles Schultz, for our Canadian friend Ash, for Mr. Reliable Walter Cruz, for the simple man who's about to snooze, for all of you that tune in, engage, and are entertained by what we say and what we do. We thank you all once again for tuning in. So until next time, which of course will be, as far as I'm concerned, Wednesday night for Dynamite, make a positive impact in life. Have a good night, and thank you all for tuning in once again to another rousing edition of the Sunday Shenanigans. Have a good night, folks, and we'll see you at year's end for the year's end Wednesday Shenanigans special after AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash. Have a wonderful Sunday evening and night. Boys and lady, it's been one hell of a time. Oy vey.
AEW. Oh.
Wrestling, damn it! Where the wrestlers work!